won their third straight game on Thursday. Montreal must win Game 6 tonight.
Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Molson Brewery, brewers of Molson Canadian, bringing you the finest in hockey broadcasting for over 25 years. Canadian Tire. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire than tires. Canadian General Electric. We bring good things to life. Esso. You make us better. And by Ford of Canada. At Ford, quality is job one. Driving is believing.
In his playing days, Al Arbour was respected as a hard-hitting, shot-blocking defenseman who played 17 years in the NHL with 4 different clubs. Jacques Lemaire was with the Montreal Canadiens all of his career, 12 seasons, a dynamite skater, and a prolific scorer. 15 years ago, as players, Al Arbour and Jacques Lemaire faced each other in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Arbour winding down his career with the St. Louis Blues, and Lemaire still a hotshot scorer for the Montreal Canadiens. Today, Arbour a veteran coach, Lemaire a rookie, and as coach, Arbour has been to the Stanley Cup Finals and won the Cup 4 different times. Here in the offices of the New York Islanders, there's a constant reminder that the Islanders are indeed Stanley Cup champions. This enlargement is of a photo of a victory celebration taken May 19th, 1981. The Islanders had just defeated Minnesota. Some of the players on the ice, well, Mike Bossy, there's Ken Morrow, the specialist in overtime goals. A couple of the younger Islanders, Rolly Melanson and Billy Carroll, were on the ice. And up here, Anders Kaler and Langevin, Trottier, and I believe that may be Dennis Potvin holding aloft the Stanley Cup. And look, over there, Billy Smith skating away. A great star in all of these Stanley Cup victories for the New York Islanders. They are the champions. They've won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. Hello again, everybody. I'm Brian McFarland, your host for tonight's game. The Islanders would like to make it 5 consecutive Stanley Cups and tie the record held by Montreal. But they don't dare look ahead to the Edmonton Oilers just yet. They have one major hurdle to overcome, and that comes tonight against the team that holds the record, the Montreal Canadiens. So the veteran coach relies on his veteran goaltender, Billy Smith, while the rookie coach depends on his rookie, Steve Penny, to keep the Hab hopes alive. This Stanley Cup playoff game begins in just a moment.
From Ford Special Vehicle Operations, the new Mustang SVO with a 175 horsepower turbocharged engine, Coney gas shocks, Goodyear NCT tires, 4-wheel disc brakes, articulated driving seats, 5 speeds, functional aerodynamics with biplane spoiler. Mustang SVO. New from Special Vehicle Operations. Have you driven the best-built North American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
Introducing a great new addition to the land of Dairy Queen. New Queen's Choice Hard Ice Cream. There's luscious strawberry, rich chocolate, and many more of your favorite flavors in the most wonderfully rich premium quality hard ice cream. Queen's Choice Ice Cream at participating Dairy Queen stores now.
In the land of Dairy Queen, we treat you right.
How to build an expensive radial tire. You build it tough. So tough it meets or exceeds national brand specifications. You build it to last with a 5-year road hazard guarantee. In fact, you build a tire so good it can do something you might not have thought possible. It can replace one or all of the present radials in your car, no matter what brand they are. That's the way we build every Canadian Tire radial tire. It's everything an expensive tire should be, except expensive.
This summer, the ultimate experience in sport. The Olympic experience on CBC television.
There is no doubt that the fans here at the capacity-packed Nassau Coliseum are expecting their team to win tonight and advance for the 5th straight year into the Stanley Cup Finals. But as far as the Montreal Canadiens are concerned, nobody will say for sure, because after all, the Canadiens weren't supposed to be here on the 5th of May. They weren't supposed to beat the Bruins. They weren't supposed to advance past the Nordics. So as far as Montreal is concerned, there is a little bit of hesitancy. Nobody really for sure wants to say that this or that will happen, because after all, the Canadiens have been the surprise team of the 1984 Stanley Cup playoffs. We shall see tonight. They have their backs to the wall, as the old cliche goes, and it won't be easy. But nothing is for sure right now. As far as some other opinions are concerned about what might happen here tonight, let's join Brian now, and with him is Gary Dornhofer.
Well, thank you, Dick. And Gary, I know you believe a fast start is imperative for Montreal tonight, but how are they going to do that? Because the Islanders also believe in fast starts and winning at home. 39-9 since 1980, winning on home ice.
Brian, if I knew that, I'd be behind the bench. I don't know. I just think that you have to dig deep. You know, Montreal have come this far, and I'm sure to a player they're saying, look at guys, we've come this far, let's do something about it. Let's not go out easily if that's going to be the case. Jacques Lemaire, I'm sure, has his team pumped up. They're going to be ready to play. 5 games have been decided by the team that scores the opening goal. They have won the contest. For Montreal to win tonight, they have to score the first goal.
Okay, Gary, we'll let you go to work, and right now we'll join Danny Gallivan in the broadcast booth.
And the teams are on the ice. And as Dick alluded to the fact that the fans are very excited. You know, a week ago tonight, the Islander fans were solemn, dispirited, with their team down 2-0 to the Canadiens. You could read a facial expression that said, indeed, the drive for 5 will stall against Montreal. But after last Saturday's victory, buoyancy and bounce and great lead are the obvious traits of the Islanders fans. They're announcing the lineup changes, and we'll continue on talking here. We'll give you those changes in detail in just a moment or two. And hanging majestically and proudly over center ice here at the Coliseum, you saw the Stanley Cup champion banners. They have 4 of them. 80, 81, 82, and 83. Billy Smith just got a big hand. And there's a man who works on that gum just as much as Toe Blake used to do. And chewing gum for Toe Blake with his immense coaching talent. He went along for 5 Stanley Cups. This man has tremendous talent as a coach. And as he hitches up his trousers, he hopes he's hitching them up for a victory here in the 6th game for the Islanders against Jacques Lemaire's Canadiens, so that then the Islanders will go against the Edmonton Oilers in a 2nd consecutive Stanley Cup final. And that is a tremendous hockey team that waits out there in Edmonton. An explosive hockey team. And you can rest assured that that Edmonton Oilers team learned a lot from last year's experience. And now we're going to have O Canada as we greet Dick Irvin and Dornhofer athletically jumping into the booth.
True north, strong and free, from far
playing of the national anthem every night here at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. And the fans were informed tonight. The referee in charge, Dave Newell. The linesman working the game, veterans Ron Finn and Leon Stickle. Steve Penny will start for the Canadiens. He has started every game and played all but 32 minutes of this Canadiens-Islanders-Wales Conference Final. While at the other end of the rink, during this hockey game tonight, Billy Smith will establish another individual goaltender playoff record. The most minutes in playoff competition. He already has the most wins and the most games. And Gary, the atmosphere in this building is, as usual, exciting.
Exciting place to play, Dick. The fans, they get into it in a hurry. They want to see their Islanders go for that 5 Stanley Cups. And that's all they talked about today in New York was the Islander Hockey Club, how they were going to demolish the Canadiens. Well, we'll wait and see. Danny?
And it is underway. The Islanders with Potvin on the left side. Jumping to the attack, and they cleared into the corner, coming in on the right side. Flatley was belted on the boards by Hamel. It comes right out in front. And the Canadiens, Tremblay took a peek over his left shoulder, gave it a water. And a rising shot. Tremblay in there trying to clear it against Potvin. Here's Walter. Walter is knocked to the ice by Potvin. Tremblay with it. And the Canadiens now to the attack. They love to get that first goal. Tremblay takes a shot. It's blocked. Now Green pumped it back in there. Canadiens are on it. Mondeau to the other side. And Flatley down on the right wing for the Islanders. In over the line. Draped in on the boards by Hamel. Gilbert trying to clear it out. Now it's centered in front. Back to Morrill. A shot. And it's blocked by Naslund. Naslund on the left side. He's going to try to get in there. But Morrill played him beautifully. Islanders with Goring, a great playoff competitor and a very productive player in the playoffs. He lost it. It's down into Canadiens territory. And there is not a frequency of whistles. The result that they're changing players as the play goes on. Robinson around the net up on the left side. Naslund gets it to the line. Gillies plays it in there. Here is Naslund, a predominant, outstanding figure for the Canadiens, trying to center it. Morrill laying it on the side, pinching in as Ludwig, and the shot off Smith's stick. Now the Islanders try to negotiate a pass. It goes all the way down the ice. And it is icing against the Islanders.
From Long Island, this is Stanley Cup 84 on CBC.
What's this? Says here Super Lotto's having another bonus draw. Bonus prizes of $10,000. Is that possible? 500 of them. Do you believe that? Why, just anyone can go out and buy a Super Lotto ticket and win a $10,000 bonus prize. In fact, 500 anyones can win $10,000. Can you imagine? Anyone, $10,000 richer. Just like, wake up, you two. Ha!
You know, prior to games, you've seen Dave Newell talking to the two captains, and what he does is go over what the players can do and can't do. The other night, you remember, Walter running into Billy Smith. That's something that the referee had talked about prior to the game, and he said he would call it, and he did exactly that.
And the task facing the Canadiens to win this series is monumental. But then, off the top of my head, I shouldn't do it off the top of my head. I have trouble when I get inside my head. But I think in 71, they were down 3-2. They won the 6th game. That was in Montreal. Then the big victory in Boston. Here's Gainey coming in on that left side. And he was bumped with authority by the rookie, Denis. The Islanders, Tonelli, playing it through center. Flatley is trying to control it. Gives it a Potvin, the shot. And Penny had that taped all the way. There's Tonelli. He's big. He's rugged. He's tough. He comes off the boards. Potvin is getting set. He fired it. Blocked by Robinson. Tremblay coming away. Tremblay. It's called back. Interference is the call.
So at the 2:50 mark of this first period, Dave Newell calls the first penalty. The Canadiens will be shorthanded.
Looking good, Slocum.
Wish my sails were. Gotta keep in shape to pound the pavement these days.
Oh, not with 800 service. Now my customers can call me toll-free. No runaround, and you can pump up sales without pounding the pavement. It's all an 800 service. Today's way to operate. Just call toll-free 1-800-361-3050 for a free copy. 800 service. The shape of things to come.
800 service. Today's way to operate.
Interference call made on Craig Ludwig of the Canadiens at 2:50. Islanders on the power play.
And an opportunity for the Islanders to get that coveted first goal of the game, and it's whipped in there by Potvin. Coming in from the left side is Gilbert. Into the corner. Naslund shoots it along the boards, and it's out over the boards. The Islanders have Bossy on with Potvin, Gilbert, Janssen, and number 21, Sutter. Janssen clearing it in. Sutter is coming from the other side. Will he get an opportunity to clear it out? He gives it to Gilbert. Gilbert takes a look. Back it goes to Janssen over on this side to Potvin. Back in front, ready to put the Bossy. He shoots, and an enormous save there by Penny. Penny was coming down to that side, and you got to do it quickly when you're against Bossy.
Well, that's exactly the way to set up the power play. You notice how quickly the passes were made. They had the Canadiens scrambling out of position.
And we are down to 55 seconds left in the penalty. Here's Gillies, and his pass goes off the stick of Carbonneau. Carbonneau is out there as a penalty killer with Gainey, and they are two of the very best in the business. Green is on defense with Hamel. Now the Canadiens making changes. Potvin clearing it. The Janssen in over the line. Takes a look. Where is he going to pass it? Into the corner it goes. And it hopped over Trottier's stick. Green along the board. Bossy is watching very carefully. Gillies in behind the net. Trottier spun around there by Hamel. Hamel is going to clear it, but not out. Here it is. Shot in there. It's off the leg. Janssen to Potvin, back to Janssen. He lines up with a shot. Loose puck in from the net. Wild scramble. There it is, waiting for. They score! Gillies!
Well, for the fourth straight game in this series, the Islanders open things on a power play.
Who starts it off? Clark Gillies in front of net. Now there's a mad scramble. Watch what happened once Penny gets to his skate. All he had to do was stand there. I mean, he's down before Gillies even releases the puck. And then once Gillies gets the puck deck, all he has to do is put it over Penny. Not a very good play by the rookie Penny, but I guess this is playoff, and can't expect him to be at the top of his game all the time. But Gillies, like the old pro he is, waited. Once he had Penny down, it was easy.
Scored by number 9, Mark Gillies.
Gillies got 12 goals all season in regular season play. He's got 7 in the playoffs.
And number 5, Dennis Potvin. The final goal, 4:51. That's Gillies' 7th in the playoffs from Trottier and Potvin at 4:51.
4:51, Trottier and Potvin assisting on the Gillies goal. And it is 1-0 Islanders. Robinson ahead to Bullet shot. His pass stopped by Boudelier. And the Islanders are on the prowl again. Along the boards. Kennelly right out in front to Goring. And the Canadiens taking over a good pass there. Mondeau to shot. Back it goes to Nyland. Taken out of the play. Knocked to the ice by Boudelier. And here's Dwayne Sutter. Islanders 1, Canadiens no score. Montreal making changes while the play goes on. Big Kennelly ripped the shot off the stick of Chelios, and it's over the glass.
So the goal by Clark Gillies has given the Islanders an early first period lead here at the Nassau Coliseum.
Come on and grip the light fantastic. Get a hold of a light and easy. It's cool to the touch. Well, thank you very much. It's got a spray and surge the steam itself cleans like a dream. Come on and grip the light fantastic.
easy irons from CGE. Come on and grip the light fantastic.
GE, we bring good things to life.
The goal was Gillies from Trache and Potvin at 4:51. And the assist by Denny Potvin, his 97th career in the playoffs, tying him with Jean Beliveau for the all-time lead.
And he is in very illustrious company.
Yes, indeed.
Now the Canadiens coming in. Islanders fail to knock it out. High flying puck was cleared by Smith. Here is Gillies. Over the line. Keller cutting in, dropped it. From the corner, LaFontaine trying to get it out. Somebody is hurt down there in the corner area.
Anders Keller of the Islanders. Whistle is gone, and the Islanders trainer now being assisted down to the scene where Keller lies on the ice. The Islanders had Pat LaFontaine out there in that shift. That's the only lineup change. He has been hurt. Nystrom is injured, and he won't play. Now let's take a look at what happened to Keller as he collides in the corner with Craig Ludwig.
Very awkwardly. Did he ever go down there, Dick? And it seems to be his knee. Although the trainer now is working around the neck. And that's been the history of the Islanders. They keep losing players game after game, and the depth that they have on their hockey club has been unbelievable because they come back with other players that step in there and do a tremendous job.
Now watch it here. They both go after the puck in the corner. First contact is made at the shoulder level. Hard to tell from that replay. He fell feet first into the boards. He is still on the ice. Well, John Tonelli, after the game the other night, Gary in Montreal on Thursday night, talking with us in the studio, and he mentioned the fact that the Islanders had been carrying so many players, and he said with the injury factor, it's been a good thing during the playoffs because they have had so many players go down with injuries that have kept them out for lengthy periods of time. Let's hope that Anders Keller is not seriously hurt as he slowly seems to regain his feet, and we hope his composure after the collision in the corner with Craig Ludwig. With the score, the Islanders 1 and the Canadiens nothing. We'll return in just a moment.
Open up, the moment is now. Open up for Lowenbrau. A great world beer now brewed right here. Open up for Lowenbrau. Open up a taste of Europe. Refreshing taste in German style. That great smooth taste is here and now.
Al Arbor with 107 career playoff coaching victories. Jacques Lemaire with 9. Arbor 4 away from the record held by Scotty Bowman of 111.
You notice Jacques Lemaire, 16 years ago tonight, he got an overtime goal against St. Louis, beating Glenn Hall. He was a raw rookie. And that night, Mr. Frank Selke said that boy is one day going to be not only a great hockey player, but a leader. And how true. There's a shot wide. Now Ludwig clearing it in there. They jostle on the boards. Let's see who comes up with it. And Ludwig back in the center ice area. Along the boards, the Islanders are leading 1-0 on a goal by Gillies on the power play. Canadians doing some forechecking, trying to get possession. There's a balloon on the ice. And if the Islanders do not win tonight, there's going to be a lot of wasted balloons because we have a lot of them here tonight. And sparklers, the crowd in a festive and sensing a victory. They're in that type of mood. Now the Canadiens, they lose it. Bossie's coming in over the line. Oh!
Stripping the puck from Bobby Smith and beating Steve Penny with a big shot, top corner. Here's the play on Smith.
Well, that's good anticipation, Dick, by Bossy. Now watch him jockey for position. Has the time to unload it. Uses Hamel as a screen and just beats Penny cleanly. But you give the Islanders opportunities, and they capitalize because they have the guys that can put the puck in the net.
Gary, there's going to be some people question Steve Penny on that goal. Was he totally screened? I mean, it was a quick play, but tough to tell.
22, Mike Bossy.
It was also Mike Bossy.
The goal was unassisted. It came at 7:22. Bossy, 7th in the playoffs, unassisted at 7:22.
7:22, Bossy, unassisted on the Islanders, who need this game tonight to wrap up the series after dropping the first two games, are well on their way. There's a mix-up on the board.
Look out.
It's Hunter who is down on the ice. And number 27, Canelli. I'd like to mention further about Mr. Frank Selke. That venerable, sagacious man who lives out in Hudson Regal will be 91 years of age on Monday. Mr. Selke, have a wonderful birthday. And we all know what an enormous architect you have been over the years of great, great hockey teams.
All right, Hunter goes to the box, and so does John Canelli.
Well, gentlemen, it's been that kind of a series. The hitting has been there, the contact has been there, and at times it got a little out of hand. But referee Dave Newell, he's going to make sure that nothing develops and send the players to the penalty box. So Hunter and Canelli will serve a couple each for roughing.
All right, we'll take another look at the goal, Gary, and I'd like to get back to the Steve Penny situation.
Now, this might give a good idea if it was screened. See, when you shoot it through a defenseman's legs or just by his shoulder or pants, it's difficult to pick it up. Now, you notice on that play, Penny was out challenging. That puck just overpowered him in the corner, perfect location. And I've always felt that if a guy can pick it inside the post, he deserves the goal.
Well, Bossy played him out just perfectly on it, too. Let him make the first move, then made the shot.
You know, we're looking at line matchups. Gainey's been at Bossy throughout the series. He couldn't get out in time to try and cover up on that one.
A high-rising shot by Naslund. Now the Islanders, they'll start out swinging away from Mondeau. There's Bossy down on the right side. Morrow taken in on the boards. He carries on, getting it back to the line. Bossy over to this side to Italy. There's a shot, and that was a big save. And Morrow at the open side of the net. But the puck was on in, and he shot it wide. And the Islanders coming very close to making it 3-0. Now Green with a soft shot, dumping it delicately into the corner, and that's the signal for Montreal to make changes while the play goes on. Now Trottier weaving his way to center. He just got rid of it. Now we have the Islanders making changes. 1 minute left in the penalties to Hunter and Pinelli, and down in over the line is Gainey. Gainey passed it, and it's out over the line. And with that 2-0 lead that the Islanders have, you can rest assured that even in the first period, Gary Dornhofer, they're going to up the intensity of their checking.
Well, that's the style. They force the opposition into mistakes and increase the lead.
Now Gainey getting it back to Robinson. There's a shot. Blocking that was Potvin, and these defensemen have done that so well in the playoffs for the Islanders.
Danny Potvin played just a fair game in game number 1, but since then he has come on stronger and stronger and stronger. In game 5, he had to block 5 or 6 shots. He's up to it again tonight. The timing has to be perfect, or you're going to visit the dentist.
Well, Steve Penny throughout the playoffs has shown a great ability to come back after being beaten by a goal with a big save, and he did it right there. Boudelier let the shot go. Morrow on the rebound was wide with the bouncing puck.
Islanders 2. Canadiens no score. Goring checked off the puck by Lafleur. Chabot up on the right side. Islanders breaking up the Chabot pass that went to the right wing now. Here's Lafleur. Lafleur trying to break out of the slump. A drop pass to Chabot. Chabot twisting and turning along the boards. And Dwayne Sutter takes over. Coming out very slowly. Hotvan. Hotvan, a long lead pass gobbled up by Chelios. And the penalized players are back in circulation. LaFleur coming in off the right wing board. LaFleur shoots it right on! Billy Smith with a big save.
And we have Hunter and Finelli again involved. Oh boy, that puck almost got through the open legs of Billy Smith. Mark Hunter. Great up against the crossbar right there in the conclusion of this, and the chant goes up again. Gary, Billy.
Well, I really believe for this guy. You know, over the year, he has been a tremendous athlete, a tremendous player for the Montreal Canadiens. I know he's under the gun by the press, the fans in Montreal. I will not criticize him. In fact, as a player, respect for him, and he used to excite me just sitting on the bench. He's going through a tough time, and, you know, perhaps you should retire when you're at the top of your game.
Well, that's like the night in Philadelphia is playing in Montreal. The coach told Dornhofer to go out and watch LaFleur. LaFleur scored, and he was criticized. Dornhofer was it. He said, I thought I told you to watch LaFleur. He said, I did. Isn't he beautiful?
Wasn't that great? That's a true story.
It's 2-0 here. The Islanders in command so far in this hockey game, but it's just the first period. Now up on the right side, it goes off. Hunter stick, you know, to win a series after losing 2 games, it's not an easy thing. Now I'm talking about the Stanley Cup Finals only. In 45 years, only on 3 occasions has a team lost the first 2 games and then to come back to win the series. Toronto did it against Detroit when they lost the first 3 in 42. The Canadiens against Detroit in 66, and Montreal in 73 against Chicago. So that's a rarity, isn't it? I don't think I've convinced you, have I, Dornhoff? At the line, in over the line. Sitting on the puck is Carbonell.
And the face-off will come outside the Islanders' blue line. 9:24 left, first period. The Islanders lead 2-0.
License number 9199.
You think I'm tough? This is tough. TR3 ain't no wax. Man, this stuff is something else. TR3 goes on easy, stays on hard. Makes your car beautiful. Like me. TR3 fights off the enemies like dirt, sun, and grime. You want tough? This is tough. TR3. Take it from me, Mr. T.
Lining up for the face-off outside the Islanders' line. I have a correction to make. I said Montreal against Chicago in 73. There's a shot right on! Billy Smith making the save against Nyland. It was 1971. Gary, have you seen a better playoff goaltender than Billy Smith?
He does it year after year after year. When the chips are on the line, Billy Smith really comes through. Not often do the Islanders cough up that puck in their own zone. And I guess teams get a little excited when they do. Well, here's a glorious scoring opportunity. Number 31 steps in and just makes a save.
I thought you might have said Bernie Perron.
He would be his equal. Bernie 1-2 for us. Played exceptional hockey.
And we have 9 minutes and 9 seconds. The time left here in the opening period, and the Islanders leading 2-0. Potvin lugging it out and clearing it into the Canadian zone. Green in there. He took a look at Goring up on the right side. Tremblay, good pass into the center ice area to Carbonell. Carbonell drifting off to the left wing. Taken out of the play by Potvin. Goring to the other side to Gillies. Bumped gently there by McPhee. Now Gillies got his stick way up high. Deneen is around the net. He's knocked to the ice by McPhee. They both went down. And it's very difficult to convince the Islanders supporters that there was not an infraction there and should have been called, according to them, against McPhee, who is now going in after Deneen again. So McPhee showing a lot of aggressive skating to the other side into the center ice area. Goring is in over the line, a drop past to Gillies. There's the shot. Blocked by Robinson. LaFleur Clears it to the far side. Ludwig up ahead. And it's dumped to center by McPhee. Canadiens with Lafleur in over the line. Here's Lafleur handing it off to Chabot. Chabot around the net trying to center it. The Islanders just get rid of it. And pouncing on it for Montreal, Ludwig. Ludwig to Chabot. That was not a good pass intended for Walter. Pinelli coming down on the left side. He's pushed by Robinson. Centered it right out in front. Here's Morrow. In for Tonelli. Tonelli is rambunctious, a going concern for the Islanders. Robinson ahead to Gainey. Gainey in over the line, trying to drop it back, and it hit the leg of Morrow. Robinson struggling behind the net, and the Islanders couldn't get out. Trottier was bodied by Robinson. Rossi to Johnston. A high pass goes to center ice, and the Canadiens on it with Robinson returning it to Ludwig. Canadiens have to accentuate to a greater degree than ever the offensive aspect of the hockey game. They cannot afford the luxury of losing this game. It'll be the end of the season for them, and they are down 2-0 in this first period. 6.5 minutes left. Nyland hitting the Islanders line, dropping it back, and it's shot to center by Flatley. There is Green playing it ahead. And the Islanders take over, coming down on the left side. Gilbert pass to Flatley. Canadiens, according to the Islander supporters, had too many men on the ice. But I don't think that was the case. But they reacted strongly. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left. Here's Flatley in over the line. There's a shot. And that hit a body. Sharp angle shot by Flatley. Trombley playing it up on the left side. Deneen cleared it to the line. Sutter, that is Brent Sutter, back to Deneen on the left side to Gilbert. Gilbert stepping nimbly at the line, and it is offside against the Islanders.
The Islanders lead at 2-0, live on CBC. This is Stanley Cup 84.
Good news comes in small packages, Escort and Lynx. Now buy a special package of options and get automatic transmission at no extra cost. Or take your choice of a second option package and get 5-speed transmission and AM/FM stereo radio at no extra cost. Now buy either Escort or Lynx with a special value package and get automatic transmission at no extra cost. Or 5-speed transmission and AM/FM stereo radio at no extra cost. See your Ford or Mercury dealer for details on this Escort Lynx offer today.
This is the 7th different line combination that Al Arbor has had out there tonight, Jerry. He's got LaFontaine centering Carroll and Bossy. Bossy has played on 4 different lines.
It's very difficult for Lemaire to match, so he might as well just go out and play. They need goals, so you have to go right after the Islanders and never mind matching.
Now the Canadiens shut at center. Trying to clear it ahead. He picks it up and stuff. A good move by Schutt. And Schutt couldn't pick it up against Boudelier. 5 minutes exactly the time remaining. In this, the opening period, and the Islanders are leading the Canadiens 2-0, and it's Morrow. Over on this side to Boudelier. Back to Morrow. Taking his time in the center ice area, Boudelier. Playing it across the Canadiens line. Good forechecking here by the Islanders. You have Dwayne Sutter out there with Carroll and Goring. Canadiens couldn't mount an offensive attack. Islanders still at their own line. They play it on the left side to Gillies. Gillies has a goal tonight. He swings over to the right side. Into the corner it goes. Dwayne Sutter is in there against Hamel. Here's Goring. Goring getting set along the boards. Goring had the stick handle by the referee, Dave Newell. Canadiens coming out. They can't get very far. The Islanders taking over, led by Goring. Goring coming down. He leads his man, Boudelier, with a left wing pass. But it was a stuttering, stammering effort on the left side as Boudelier had to ease up to take the pass. Now the Canadiens. Boudelier upended his man. And there's a tripping penalty against number 4 of the Islanders.
The Canadiens, who have been struggling on the power play all season, and particularly in this series, will now get their first power play chance as Boudelier goes to the box at 16-13.
We know what, we know how, we know what we want, and we want it now. So only the best will do, and the best is that Pepsi taste that keeps coming through. Come on, Pepsi, you want the best taste? Come and make your Pepsi now. Come on, Pepsi, taste the best taste. Come and make your Pepsi now.
The Islanders' very impressive 20-year-old defenseman Paul Boudelier off for tripping at 16-13. The Canadiens 0 for 5 on the power play on Thursday night, 0 for their last 12 in this series. They have been struggling.
So Montreal on the power play as we move into the final 3.5 minutes of the first period. What a psychological lift it would be for the Canadiens to get a goal. Here's Robinson shooting it to the short side. But the power play for Montreal, as everybody knows, has been stuttering. There's a shot in front. Smith was upended as he tried to deflect it, and the Islanders shooting it down the ice. 1 minute and 23 seconds of time left in the Boudelier tripping penalty. Now Chelios is coming up with Nyland. He has Naslund on the other side. Smith is in over the line. Robinson is moving up. Naslund goes down. Here's Smith taking a look. What's he going to do with it? He gives it up to the Islanders, and they promptly shoot it down the ice.
You know, one thing we noticed in Game 5 in Montreal in the third period, the Canadiens did have guys in front of Billy Smith. They did not score, but they had Smith scrambling, and there was some rebounds there with the opportunity of putting it by him.
And now into the corner area. They fight for possession. It comes loose. And there is Goring. And what an invaluable man he is for the Islanders, particularly in playoff games and especially killing off penalties.
Very difficult guy to play with because as soon as you touch the puck, you have 91 right beside you. Very tenacious in his checking. And, you know, the Canadiens are getting in there, but they're getting out-muscled for the puck. They're not determined enough to come up with that puck.
There's the lead pass from Chelios to Nyland, dropping it back. And that brings the Canadiens back into the center ice area. Now Janssen just got rid of it. And we have the expiration of the penalty to Boudelier. Lafleur can't catch up with it at center. Offhand playing it back. Here's Denis coming out slowly on the left wing. Trottier gets it. Cleared it in over the line for Tonelli. Tonelli around the net. Trying to center it. Still fighting for it. Fighting with great determination. And finally the Canadiens Hunter cleared it down on the right side. Here's Denis. Offhand up on the left side to Tonelli in over the line. Giving it to Trottier right in front. And Bossy couldn't pick it up. A minute, 1 second left. Now the Canadiens going in, and Trottier cleared it out over the line. The shots on goal, 6-5 for the Islanders. They lead 2-0 as the Montreal Canadiens bounce it back in there, and Smith can't pick it up against Denis and Potvin. Now on the left side, Gillies at center, in over the line with Sutter. Along the boards, they jostle for possession. Behind the net, Brent Sutter is knocked to the ice. So is Flatley. Gillies goes in there to help out, and they might get a whistle. They do.
We are 24 seconds away from the end of this first period. Clark Gillies, who opened the scoring in this game, will be guesting with Brian McFarland in our upcoming first intermission, and we will also have a special Hockey Night in Canada feature on the Special Olympics. And I noticed, Gary, when Gillies popped that goal early, They were very quick to put up on the board. Team scoring first goal of game has won 66% of games in playoffs.
I think everybody in this building knew exactly that, Dick. But that last sequence gives you an idea how the Islanders grinded out along the boards. You know, the team concept that Al Arbor instills in everybody. Work, 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 and always never too late to come back.
And we have 15 seconds left in this, the opening period. The Islanders can't clear it out the first time. They get an extra effort, and they get it to center. Robinson clearing it in there, and that bring about the end of the opening period with the Islanders getting a standing ovation, and they lead 2-0.
Well, what chances the Montreal Canadiens did have. Billy Smith was there, but again, good defense by New York. They just stymied the Canadiens in their own end.
The Islanders outshot the Canadiens in the first period by a margin of 6-5. And so the score at the end of the first period, the New York Islanders 2, the Montreal Canadiens nothing. Stay with us for our first intermission.
For 29 years, Advanced Floor and Wall Covering has been selling carpets from one of Windsor's largest in-stock inventories. With 40-store buying power, carpeting from all the major mills is available at low prices. See the selection of all-wool Oriental rugs, imported and domestic ceramic tile, vinyl no-wax flooring, and a beautiful display of over 40 hardwood floor samples, all installed by their own skilled workmen. Advance Your Carpet Center, centrally located at McDougall and Eugenie.
Hi, I'm A.J. Gusjerve, and it's manufacturing that makes the big difference. This unusual Fitch coat has the custom-made look because it is custom-made. You are invited to see the magnificent Gervais creations now in production in our factory at 762 Willette Avenue in Windsor, 2 blocks from the tunnel exit. Looking forward to waiting on you personally.
If you've ever tried to harvest soybeans in a field infested with black nightshade, you know the problem. These little berries can plug up your combine and give you a load of stained beans besides. It's a terrible problem. Fortunately, Lasso herbicide offers a solution. Lasso consistently controls black nightshade.
Lasso controls black nightshade better than anything.
Game 6 of this series, the Islanders holding a 2-0 lead. First period goals by Gillies and Bossy. Gillies on the power play. Watch it again. And what a gem up in front of Steve Penny as the puck comes through. Watch Gillies, number 9, to the side of the net. Trotzy and Potvin there as well. It came at 4:51. The puck finally comes over to Clark Gillies. Steve Penny is down off his skates. And here comes the puck over now. Gillies makes a fine move here. Waits and pops it into the corner, and he's our guest in the first intermission. Clark Gillies having a sensational playoff year, and I believe, Clark, that some of that is because of a conversation you had with Bill Torrey with about 20 games to play in the regular season. Tell us what happened.
Well, the season for me was really a disaster, and I went in and saw Bill, and we had a long talk, and he basically just said, you know, forget about the season. We know you can contribute if you get your head in the right, going in the right direction, and I tried to do that, and so far it's been going real well.
Boy, we should all talk to our bosses like that. Might help. That was a fine goal you got, and a super goal by Mike Bossy.
Mike really shot the puck there. I think he used Hamel, I think it was, as a screen, and put it in the top corner. That's one of Mike's bright spots. He can use the defenseman for that, and when he gets it away hard like that, it's tough for the goalie to stop it.
One plus the Islanders have, though, is the depth, because you've had so many injuries throughout the playoffs, but you always seem to find a body to fill the spot.
Well, everybody was saying that the Islanders are going to make a lot of trades during the trade deadline. We had 7 extra bodies. And Bill Torrey said, you know, we may need the guys, and once again, he's ended up looking like a genius, because we've needed every single guy that he kept on the misery squad, as they call it, and they played well for us.
The word on you is that you're an amiable, fun-loving kind of guy in the dressing room, full of hijinks and everything, but when you get mad, you play your best. Who are you mad at these days?
Well, tonight I'm mad at Gordy Janine because he hit me in the eye with a stick during the warm-up, but I don't know. I'm kind of mad at myself, I guess. I want to go out there every night and play as well as I can now, especially, as we said, in the playoffs, and try and salvage something out of this season, because I really feel that I hit the bottom during this season, and now I want to try and work my way back up.
Well, you're certainly doing that. And you mentioned young Gord Dineen, and you think about Flatley and LaFontaine coming back. You've got the good young kids coming along, too, and that's an asset.
Oh, there's no question. We've got 4 or 5, 20, 21, 22-year-old players that are that fit right in. They're playing like real veterans, and it really looks good for the future of the team. And I just hope I'm 30 now. I hope I'm part of it for another 3 or 4 years anyway.
I'm sure you will be, and have a great rest of this hockey game tonight.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Clark Gilly of the Islanders. Our first intermission resumes in just a moment.
Today's smart money. Do you know where it's going? It's coming to Continental Bank, where we use advanced new business and personal banking systems to make sure your money is always in action. Continental Bank of Canada. Bankers in action.
In major centers all across Canada, business travelers are discovering Holiday Inn hotels are a better place to be.
Cooper XL7, strong to provide ultimate protection. The liner molds to your head, giving you maximum comfort. A ventilation system designed to keep you cool, with no excess weight to slow you down. It adjusts to size in seconds with the unique Cooper lock. The steel face guard attaches easily with a new clip system. The world plays hockey with Cooper.
Teleconferencing. Welcome to today's way to hold a regular interbranch meeting without ever leaving the roost.
Everyone there? Calgary?
Because travel time is money. It's all in teleconferencing. Today's way to operate. Call toll-free 1-800-361-3050 for your free booklet. And learn how to bring your people, wherever they are, under one roof. Teleconferencing. Dial a meeting of minds without the bother of meeting.
Teleconferencing. Today's way to operate.
Power play goal by Gillies. Bossy unassisted. 2-0 Islanders after the first period here on Long Island. Hockey players have always been quick to support those less fortunate than themselves, and particularly interesting to the hockey players themselves are those who take part in Special Olympics.
You're about to witness scenes from a truly great sporting event, which took place at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge last summer. It's the International Special Olympics with teams from 53 countries. And this is Team Canada, the largest team from outside the United States. 200 mentally handicapped athletes from across Canada with their coaches, acknowledging the applause of the 60,000 spectators.
Special Olympian from Baton Rouge, Freddie Lee.
One of Louisiana's own athletes carries the Olympic flame on the last leg of its journey to the top of this jam-packed, super excited stadium.
What an effort!
What a crowd, what emotion. The word that describes this spectacle is awesome. But before we look at some of the action, let's go back a bit to London, Ontario, at the University of Western Ontario, where Team Canada assembled to train and prepare. The man in the middle of the team picture is Harry Red Foster, the founder of the Canadian Special Olympics and the NHL floor hockey program. It's the day before the team leaves for Baton Rouge, and the Calgary Flames' Lanny McDonald, the head coach of the floor hockey team, spoke to these special athletes.
To have won a chance to represent your country. It's a very special moment, a very special time, and not everyone gets the opportunity in life that you people are getting.
Now let's see some of the athletes in action in Baton Rouge. And this is Robert Champion from Nova Scotia, who captured the big event in track and field, the pentathlon. He stands proud on the winner's podium, truly a champion in every way. Just look at that winning smile. But track and field is only one part of the Special Olympics. Here's just a small sampling of some of the other events in what has quickly become the fastest growing and largest sports program for the handicapped in the world today. Even equestrian events and team sports are now common. But this was the first team sport ever played at the Special Olympics, floor hockey. And this is action in the big match at these International Special Olympics, Team Canada versus Team USA for the Little Stanley Cup. Team Canada had prepared at its training camp back in London, Ontario, enthusiastically coached by Lanny McDonald, a tireless worker for the Canadian Special Olympics. Other NHL players and coaches were there to help too. Detroit's Colin Campbell, Toronto coach Dan Maloney. Veteran NHL referee Bruce Hood has been volunteering his help for the NHL floor hockey program, along with linesman Leon Stickle for many years. As have several other NHL personalities, including number 99, Wayne Gretzky.
There's 420 hockey players that play in the league, and I'd be willing to bet if you ask 420 people, they'd be willing to show up to play with the kids and to work with the kids.
Back to Baton Rouge and the Little Stanley Cup game. That's ex-Boston Bruin Ken Hodge coaching Team USA. The large crowd cheered on both teams and was treated to a hard-fought game full of excitement, with Team Canada emerging victorious, coming back from the defeat they suffered against Team USA in the previous Little Stanley Cup played in Ottawa. But according to Lanny McDonald, the Special Olympics and the NHL floor hockey program is much more than winning and losing.
The joy that you see day in, day out on their faces, that is what the Special Olympics is all about.
Eunice Kennedy Shriver congratulates the triumphant members of Team Canada, presenting them with their NHL crest and the big prize, the Little Stanley Cup. The Special Olympics, a truly great sporting movement, and NHL floor hockey is proud to be part of it.
Here at the Nassau County Coliseum, the Canadiens have one skate in a very deep hole, and we'll hear what Dick and Gary have to say about it all when our coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs continues.
Goes to your head.
Gee, we bring good things to life.
Load! Ready! Aim! Fire!
Introducing the Spalding cannons. The metal wood's so powerful, they're going to start a revolution. The Spalding cannons. For long, accurate shots, shot after shot. Don't just reach for a wood. Fire a cannon. The Top Flight XL and Executive cannons from Spalding.
Oh, have you heard the news? Ontario's twice as fun bonus draw is back.
Oh, wonderful. Do I still get 2 jackpots for the price of 1?
That's right.
So now when I play Lotterio, I'm automatically in the second bonus draw for $250,000 each week.
That's right. But this time, it's for 8 weeks.
8 weeks? Oh, now Lotterio really is twice the fun.
That's right. That's right.
One's got it.
Last year, for the first time, Americans were picked first and third in the NHL draft. What will be the story this year in the '84 draft, June 9th in Montreal? Well, no doubt one story will be the sensational Mario Lemieux from Laval, who has rewritten the junior record books in the province of Quebec. For the first time, Canadian viewers will be able to follow their favorite team's selections as Sports Weekend brings you a television first. It's live coverage of the NHL draft from the Montreal Forum. See it Saturday, June 9th.
This young man is a happy young man right now. He's the son of Islander goaltender Billy Smith. He is one of the balloon brigade here tonight at the Nassau Coliseum. And there's Pop in the nets, almost ready to start this second period of play. Gary, one thing we saw in that first period with the Islanders ahead 2-0, I guess it's cliche, but it's typical Islander hockey.
They do grind it out, don't they, Dick? They're very persistent in their forechecking. They cause turnovers. I'm looking for a weakness in the Islander attack. I can't find one.
You know, inside the blue line, I thought that one thing that the Canadiens did, especially in the Boston series, surprisingly perhaps, was win the boards. They really slugged it out against the Bruins, but here tonight that's been a problem for them.
It has, Dick, and you just have to hand it to Al Arbour. You know, I don't care how many superstars you have in your hockey club, you need direction from behind the bench. Arbour has the team playing as a team. There are no selfish hockey players on that hockey club. They have one goal in mind, and that's to beat the Canadiens out in the conference final. Each man contributes in his way, and it doesn't matter what line Arbour sends out there, they do the job, whether it's at the center ice, in their own zone, or in the Montreal zone. They work.
This camera shot proves that we are indeed broadcasting from in the crowd, and now ready to broadcast the play-by-play from in the crowd. Danny Gallivan.
And we are all set. At center, it's Smith for Montreal, Gainey on one wing and Hunter on the other. The Islanders with Flatley going up there, a backhand shot into the corner. Here's Johnson with a screen shot, and a leg saved by Penny. 2-0, the Islanders lead. And they're up there forechecking. Now they fall back with the Canadiens starting down the ice, but it's going to be icing. And you know, you ask yourself the question, how good are the Islanders? Are the Islanders as good as that 1952 Detroit team? Oh, what a powerhouse that was. Canadiens 56-60. The Canadiens 76-79. And then Punch Imlock had some great teams, 62, 63, 64. But I think it's obvious that you cannot compare that which is not comparable. And you can't do that because the game has changed so much. I think it's suffice to say that this is a great New York Islanders team.
That's the best way out of all of that, Danny, I would think.
I would think. And there's a fellow who has been the royal jelly of this team, I would think, over these 4 previous years. A very muscular individual. Good two-way hockey player. I've referenced to Trottier as the Canadiens start out. In on the left side. Here's shot shooting again. And a blistering blast just went wide. In the Islanders in their own zone. Houdelier clearing it to an open wing, and it's gobbled up by Gainey. Gainey getting set. And a big save by Billy Smith.
Well, unfortunately, at this moment, we have a sad note to report. Canadian Sports Network President Ted Huff and all of us associated with Hockey Night in Canada join with friends of the family of Toronto Maple Leaf alternate governor Bob Sedgwick, who died this morning. We are shocked and sorrowed at Bob's sudden passing. John Ziegler, president of the National Hockey League, issued a statement. He said the NHL and all of hockey have suffered a tragic loss in the passing of Bob Sedgwick. His wisdom, wit, and consummate legal skills have been an invaluable contribution to the NHL progress these past few years. So all of us extend our deepest sympathies to his wife, Marg, and to the Sedgwick family.
And you know, Dick, it was 3 weeks ago last Wednesday that I sat in on a Hockey Hall of Fame meeting with Bob So it's a shocker to hear of his passing today. Canadiens, everybody up. 2-0, the Islanders are leading, and it's Potvin scooping it to the other side. Now Nyland. Let's see if the Canadiens can keep it in. A bouncing puck. Chelios struggles, tries to set off Nyland. And the Islanders. Trottier upended, gets it out on the right side to Bossy against Robinson. And a shot in there wide. Into the corner. Chelios. He hits the Islanders' Trottier. And the Canadiens can't get anywhere from center. It's fed back in there by New York. Montreal. They need a goal in the worst way to lift their spirits a bit and get them back into very serious contention. They're down by 2. 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Pinelli tried to make it deep. He centered it back. It came in. The Canadiens had it roll into the center ice area. Dean pounces on it quickly and sends Montreal back there with Robinson, who has been an outstanding figure in the playoffs for the Canadiens. But I think Gary Dornhofer will get to you in a second. There's a shot. Big save. Luchuk in front. Here's Morrow shooting it. And a screen shot. And I don't know whether that got all the way to Penny. We have pressure here by the Islanders. A sharp angle shot. And Robinson lugging it and getting it into the center ice area. Hunter shooting it down. I was going to ask you, Gary Dornhofer, we talked about the great play of Robinson. He may be a bit tired by now. There's a shot blocked at the line.
Well, Danny, they've gone with 5 defensemen in every game of the series, and that certainly is going to take its toll after a while.
2 minutes and 42 seconds have gone by. Big Smith coming in on the right side. Here's Smith dumping it gently right in front. And Brent Sutter was there to clear it to the corner. Boudelier, he's an elegant skater, this young man, number 4, clearing it in. Taking the puck for the Canadiens. Green sending Walter away with Lafleur. Lafleur in there, carries on. The puck stayed behind. And Lafleur going after Flatley. Shutt in for Lafleur. Lafleur clearing it ahead. Here's Shutt winding up with a shot. A low hard drive wide. Gilbert played it through the center ice area, and he missed Brent Sutter. And Lafleur clearing it in. The Canadiens led by Lafleur and Chabot are in there. And the Islanders fail to clear it out. Fake shot there by Shutt. Shutt at the line. Clearing it into the corner. Chabot has it knocked away. Montreal will keep it in. There's Lafleur twisting and turning. And the back pass taken by Flatley, who cleared it out. Now we had Amel dangling Flatley on the end of his stick. There's a shot from the line. Smith had that taped all the way. It was partially screened for a fraction of the second, but then he picked it up when it was still 10 or 15 feet up. Lafleur on the right side, passing it at the line. Chabot, a very weak and feeble effort on that shot that went off Jansson's leg. Dwayne Sutter on the right side, trying to cut in there. A trailer. Carroll picked it up, gave it to Sutter, to Jansson. He shot it right in there. And a quick maneuver by Penny. Otherwise, that puck would have been in the net. It's Gainey coming back, along with Tremblay. Into the corner. Carbonneau. Potvin takes a look. He's one of the best Russian defensemen, not only in the game today, but in any year. Right in front of Combs. And they try to jam it in on the short side. Right at the lip of the crease was number 12, Sutter, Dwayne Sutter, over on the far side. Chelios, it's knocked away. Back at the line. Tremblay knocking down his shot from Captain Gainey, and the Islanders can't get anywhere. Montreal playing it back in there, but the penetration isn't deep enough for the players to follow in, and they elect to make changes. And let's see what's happening here.
You want to win a medal at the Olympics.
You need coaches, training, competition. So we're funding SO Swim Canada, supporting swim clubs, encouraging skills. Now good swimmers can get better, maybe the world's best. Canada. Coming through for you makes us better, too.
You make us better, you do. SO.
We've had a delay in this game because of an injury to referee Dave Newell. It would appear to be his left hand or left arm as he goes to the Islander dressing room side. Now, there are alternate officials in the stands at all times during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Do we know who the alternate is here tonight? Check the list. The alternate is Andy Van Helleman.
That's interesting about the officials. The alternate always watches this particular game, so he knows exactly what is happening, what to expect for the next game. And I talked to referee-in-chief Scotty Morrison prior to the game, and that was very interesting. You know, when you see the official talking to the two captains, he has a discussion with them, and if there's points of interest that might be beneficial to the coach and the players, then it's up to the captains to go and relay that message. So right off the bat, they know exactly what's going to happen. In the American Hockey League, gentlemen, the referee in that particular game will meet with the two captains after the warm-up, and the referee will say, "You have any questions? Anything you want to talk about?" And if I can give you the answers, then you can relay it to your bench, and that's something that may be brought into the National Hockey League next year.
3 minutes and 39 seconds from now, we are going to reach a historic point in playoff hockey. With 11 minutes left in this period, Billy Smith will then have played 6,900 minutes, surpassing Glenn Hall, who had 6,899.
This is a bit of an inside here. Jiggs McDonald is the broadcaster for the New York Islanders telecast. He comes originally from Orillia, Ontario. So that is a message back to Orillia from Jiggs.
As we look at the Islanders, I wonder what the Edmonton Oilers are thinking right about now.
Tonight's game is coming to you from Long Island.
Now when the thirst starts, it's gonna take a beer with heart. And you know that Molson Light will come through with a taste that is true. Right from the start, Molson Light has got heart. Molson Light has got heart, its light taste has got heart. Heart! This one's got it.
We are back at the Nassau Coliseum. Just prior to the point when we broke away, they announced there would be a 2-minute delay because of the injury to Dave Newell. That was announced to the capacity crowd of 15,861. Now, in regular season play, you would have a linesman take over, and they would work a portion of the game with just 2 officials while a referee had the lead, but they won't do that at playoff time. Apparently, the first word we have is the Newell injury is not serious enough to warrant Van Helleman suiting up, but of course that could change. The gentleman on the left of your screen, just passing out of the picture, is Joe Patrick. And yes, he is a member of the famous Patrick hockey family. He is the son of the late Frank Patrick. And Joe is a longtime minor official at New York Ranger home games at Madison Square Garden. Folks in Vancouver will know him, the Patrick family, of course, and he is a hockey man. And Danny, that Patrick legend continues. Of course, Craig Patrick is the general manager and president of the New York Rangers. So there is a gentleman who continues in one form or another, in this case the minor official capacity of continuing on the Patrick name when the National Hockey League is concerned. Al Arbour. He will become the all-time winning Stanley Cup playoff coach if he wins the Stanley Cup, because he can surpass Scotty Bowman's record only if the Islanders go all the way this year. He's not worried about that too much, however. I think he's worried about what's happening here. We have been told that Andy Van Helleman is now getting into referee's uniform, so perhaps the injury to Newell is a little more serious than what it might have first appeared. So it's a 2-0 hockey game. We are in delay right now because of an injury to the referee.
find someone to look after your investments, John?
Yes, Pitfield Mackay Ross did an outstanding job. First, they did an in-depth review of my finances. Then they laid out a portfolio that's just right for my needs. And they follow up, make sure it's always up to date. But you must have heard of Pitfield.
I've done business with Pitfield Mackay Ross for years. They've got the right people in the right places.
The right people. That's Pitfield Mackay Ross.
Pitfield Mackay Ross. Choosing us could be your most important investment decision.
On the second intermission, Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends will feature Toronto goaltending great Johnny Bauer.
Seem to cheer more when the goal to score, as long as the home team wins. Exactly.
The Montreal Canadiens waiting it out through this injury delay. Jacques Lemaire and company. If there is a 7th game in this series, it will be played at the Forum in Montreal next Tuesday night. If there is not a 7th game in this series, the first game of the Stanley Cup Final will be played next Thursday night here on Long Island.
You know, having looked at the Montreal Canadiens, I think they wonder what they have to do to get a good scoring opportunity, because the Islanders have covered so well in that slot.
Okay, we'll just check in now at our studios for a minute. Here's Brian McFarland.
Dick, I'm here with Andy Van Hellemond, the backup referee tonight. Quickly, Andy, tell us the situation with Dave Newell.
Dave was hit with a puck in the side of his hand, and they don't know how deep the cut is, but it could have hurt some tendons. So I went in to get dressed, and then they said they were just going to stitch him up. But if there's much more of a delay, then I'll have to get dressed.
Okay, you're ready for this game tonight? Do you have to kind of crank yourself up for a game prior to the game, or are you ready to go in at any time?
Well, that's the idea of a standby. You got to be ready to go in if something should unfortunate happen, like something like this, that you got to be ready to go in and keep it going.
We hope that Dave is well and can return, but I know you're anxious to get down there and check on the latest developments, so we'll let you go, and thanks for joining us. We'll go back to the booth.
So obviously you can discount previous memo about Andy Van Hellemond getting in uniform. Not yet, anyway. This program is copyright and strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, distribution, or exhibition in whole or in part without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation is strictly prohibited.
Remember, Dick, we were doing a playoff game in Madison Square Garden. There you get a look at an indication of the part of the hand that has been severed or cut. I think it was back in 1972, and somebody got injured in the 3rd period, and Scotty Morrison took over. Remember that?
Right. Frank Goodberry also came out of retirement. Yes. It was here, I believe, in this building, that Frank had to put on the skates and work the last portion of a hockey game. Not a playoff game. I don't think it was a playoff game.
Getting back to that Billy Smith statistic that we are to reach when we have played 11 minutes into this period, that 69 100 minutes represents 345 periods of hockey, or 115 games. That is a lot of hockey. I suppose he has swung that stick quite a bit during those 345.
Danny.
No, we've got to be factual. We have told you that he's probably the greatest clutch goaler we've had in hockey in many, many years. But there's no denying the fact that he clears the people away from the front of his goal.
Well, Steve Penny must be learning something from Billy Smith as he has this experience, because Smith has played so well in the playoffs. The balloons are now bouncing around on the ice, and some of the players are bouncing the balloons around as they try to get rid of it. If you have just joined us, this is not the start of the hockey game or the start of a period. The teams have played 5 minutes and 21 seconds in this 2nd period, and the play was halted because of a hand injury suffered by the referee, Dave Newell. Craig Ludwig was in the penalty box when the Islanders opened the scoring. Ludwig took an early 1st period penalty, and Clark Gillies then scored the goal that gave the Islanders the 1-0 lead, and that followed a pattern that they have established. 4th straight game that the team coached by Al Arbour has scored an early power play goal to take the lead. It was Gillies from Trottier and Potvin at 4:51. And then Mike Bossy stripped the puck from Bobby Smith of the Canadiens and scored an unassisted goal at 7:22 to make it 2-0 for both Gillies and Bossy, their 7th playoff goals this year. You were saying, what do the Canadiens have to do? You know, one thing that everybody has talked about the Canadiens, Gary, and we certainly did toward the end of the season when it became obvious that one of the things they were lacking was a potent attack and a lot of goal-scoring ability, really, spread out or otherwise. even a couple of fellows who you could look at and count on as scoring. That's the problem that this team has when they're down 2-0 in a hockey game.
Right, who can you count on to come up with that big goal to get them on track? But watching the game tonight, and also, in fact, the last 4 games, Dick, I am so very impressed with the Islanders on their team defense. Every player has an area to cover, a position to cover, but the most important part behind their blue line that they do so well is in the slot. They always have somebody waiting there, and I think tonight, up to this point, they've picked off at least 8 or 9 passes that have resulted in the transition from defense to offense. Now, Al Arbour is certainly responsible. Well, one other guy that I think should be mentioned is Lorne Henning. Now, he spent a lot of years with the Islanders as a player. He was a defensive specialist and also a penalty killer. Al Arbour relies on his insight into the hockey, his hockey brain, and uses Henning's talents and what we're seeing out there. And it's just amazing how they can play. And this is going to be a major concern with the Edmonton Oilers and how to get good scoring chances against the Islanders.
So the delay here at the Nassau Coliseum because of the Newell injury is stretched a bit longer than 2 minutes. It's 2-0 New York.
To celebrate 25 years of sharing the moment after, Polaroid is offering $10 back on any 600 series camera and $4 back on the purchase of 2 packs of Polaroid film. Polaroid. Share the savings, share the moment.
Here at the Nassau County Coliseum. We have a delay because of the injury to referee Dave Newell. In the studio, Rick Walmsley of the Canadiens. I know it's difficult to sit and watch a game, Rick, and Steve Penny has replaced you and just been the story of the playoffs in Montreal, certainly. How do you cope with a situation like this where your expectations are kind of dull to...
It's tough. At the end of the year, I had to go in the hospital and have a little operation, and it took me out of the lineup. And Lemaire come out in the paper and said I was, going to start in the playoffs. So, that's a little tough to take, but you can't take anything away from Steve. He's played well. He's been a big factor, why we've got this far, and you can't take anything away from him.
He must be just pinching himself at times because suddenly, out of nowhere, he's a big playoff hero.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a story, you kind of dream about when you're a kid playing road hockey, stepping in the NHL and stoning everybody and going on to win the Stanley Cup. It's the kind of stuff you dream about as a kid, and it's good to see it happen, to somebody in real life.
Well, there's competition in every phase of life, especially in sports, so I guess you figure, or have to figure, if it wasn't Steve Penny giving you a battle for your job, be somebody else standing there.
Well, that's true. This isn't like you're playing Pee Wee in Port Dover, where...
Oh, you got the plug in.
Yeah. Well, I had to get in somehow. But, it's professional, and they're going to go with whoever they want, and you have to be professional in situations like this and try and keep in shape and try and do your best, in case you get in there.
Seeing you watch the games on the monitor in here, you've been in here a couple of times watching, you must just shake your head at times over the saves that Billy Smith is making.
Yeah, he's a proven playoff performer, and he's a major reason they're this far, too. I think, the 5th game against the Rangers is one of the best games I've seen in a long time, and he certainly, kept the Islanders in the game, late in the game, and in the overtime, until Morrow scored. So he's a veteran, he's a proven playoff performer, and, he says he likes the money, and he just comes through when he's supposed to.
Speaking of coming through, though, the Montreal Canadiens have been a tremendous success story throughout the playoffs, and nobody expected them to get this far off the regular season. What has Jacques Lemaire done? We've asked a lot of people this. What has he done with this club to get it cranked up like he has?
Well, I think he's given everybody, a lot more confidence than we had near the latter part of the season. We put in a new forechecking system where, we try and plug up the middle of the ice. Everybody knows that now. But everybody has a certain job, and no one's trying to do anything that they're not supposed to be doing. If you're the first man forechecking, that's all you do, and the second and third man react to that. There haven't been too many times where we've been running around and nobody has been out of position and made mistakes. So as long as we continue to do that, we'll be all right.
It's difficult for us to accept that Guy Lafleur is not scoring goals. You're very close to him. What have you got to say about that?
Well, in practice, he comes in, he just zips them by you, anytime he wants to. And I don't, like in practice, it's different. It's not under game conditions, but, you know, he's getting checked close, and he's still got the good shot. I think he just needs a little more time to get it away, and I don't think he's getting that time.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Your time will come, and let's go back up to the booth.
All right, gentlemen, the players are still, some of them, going for a bit of a skate as we await the arrival of one referee or the other, either Dave Newell or the backup Andy Van Hellemond. Gary Dornhofer, as you were saying.
Yes, Dick, I guess I was a little premature in the Oilers studying the New York Islanders and what they do in the finals, that this game is not over by a long shot. And in fact, I think you have to be very impressed the way the Canadiens have played in this series, Dick. Had it been any other team than the New York Islanders, they would probably be ahead in the series.
You know, it's also they fall behind 2-0, but it's still 2-0 after that score early in the first period. And that's what we have here as we wait out the delay.
Money. Money in action. Working for your business non-stop. That's the promise of the Continental Commercial Banking System. An exceptional combination of cash management and financing that turns money into a hard-working, moving part of your company. To get action banking for you and your business, talk to the Continental Bank of Canada. Bankers in action.
Yes. Mike Bossy standing at the doorway as we await the arrival of our referee. I kind of wish now that the original memo I spoke about, the fact that Van Hellemond was ready to go, had been correct, because this has been a much longer delay and obviously a much more serious injury than was first thought. Again, here's Brian.
Dick, certainly the best-dressed linesman in all of hockey is Ray Scapinella. You've been a busy man behind the scenes here tonight. You come to a game not expecting to play a prominent role at all. Suddenly you're in demand as a television guest on one network and then the other. Bring us up to date on what's happening now with the referee, Dave Newell.
Along the boards, a player was dumped and brought his skate up, and David brought his hand up to cover his face, and the skate cut his left finger. They're in there stitching it up right now.
Okay, but Andy Van Hellemond joined us. At first he was told it would only take a minute or two and he wouldn't be needed tonight. And then now I guess, is he getting dressed down there?
Yes, he is. Oh. He's getting dressed right now. I think if there's much longer delay, Andy will continue refereeing.
Okay. So it looks then that maybe Dave Newell won't be back tonight and Andy Van Hellemond will take over. And is there a lot of activity down in the referee's room? You got some senior officials hovering in the area?
Well, as soon as David left the ice, Andy was pulling a Superman, had the tie off before he got down the stairs. So he's in there, and I'm sure he's dressed right now.
Has this happened frequently to you in your career, having to step in as being a backup man?
Not at all, Brian. In a game like this evening, which is a potential deciding game, they have two officials, a referee and a linesman. It'd be a shame, really, if a linesman went down and Andy had to go out and work the game. It's not fair to Andy, and it wouldn't be fair to the players in a potential deciding game. So that's why two of us are here tonight rather than one.
Ray, in the regular season, when there are no backups, there's a crazy rule in the book that if the official, for some unknown reason, can't show up through blizzard or illness, a player from the home team shall act as the referee, and a player from the visiting team shall act as the one linesman. Has that ever happened in hockey?
Yes, it did. Ron Foyt was the only official that arrived in Hartford. It was this last season, as a matter of fact. He was the only official that could get there. Ron Fournier couldn't make it along with the other linesmen, and Foyt refereed, and Gary Howitt was one of the linesmen, and I forget who the other linesman was, but they worked the lines for a period.
Are you telling me it's conceivable that someday in the NHL, Tiger Williams could referee a game and Dave Semenko could, say, be the linesman?
If Vancouver so choose, he could, yes.
Boy, I hate to think about it.
I'm sure he'd do a fine job. He's always helping us now.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for joining us, Ray, and we hope that Dave Newell as well, and Andy Van Hellemond is ready to go in just a moment or two.
Thanks for having me.
We'll go back upstairs.
I want to see the day when Brian McFarland, a great skater in old-timers hockey, gets a chance to show his skills with a striped shirt. Gary, a question here, strategy-wise. Who's hurt and who's not from the team standpoint with this long delay we've had here?
I think if it's going to hurt any hockey club, it has to be the Islanders, because they were on a tear. They really did some excellent forechecking. The momentum was there. Everybody was in full stride. They had good flow, and now that's been interrupted for about 15 minutes now. The Canadiens have a chance to regroup and talk things over at their bench with Jacques Lemaire and said, hey, look at guys, we're in this one. We're only 2 behind. let's go after them. And I don't think you can afford to play safe anymore as far as the Canadiens are concerned, Dick. You have to go right after the Islanders, forecheck them. But the one area that has really let Montreal down is the giveaways, throwing the puck blindly in the slot. You have to hang on to it or be checked, stripped from the puck, but don't throw it away blind. And this is what we've been waiting for. Dave Newell is back.
Tom the Bomb is the fellow walking alongside him, one of the top hockey fans here at the Nassau Coliseum, a familiar figure to those of us in the media who travel the National Hockey League circuit. Tom Bardwell, a New Yorker. So here comes Dave Newell, his left hand, obviously, as you see, bandaged, well bandaged. And Brian will try to find out, I'm sure, just the exact nature of the work that was done on Dave. That's a tough one. Referees have had some injury problems of late, the NHL's officiating staff. Danny Van Culleman missed a lot of games, a back injury. Bob Myers was hurt. There were others as well. I think Dave himself over the last couple of years has had some injury problems. They're just as susceptible to it. They're in positions, as we saw here tonight, to run into traffic and come out of it on the lip.
Dick, I'm surprised that the officials do not wear headgear. Just about all the players do now in the National Hockey League, and yet the officials continue to referee and use the linesmen in the games without wearing that headgear.
Danny, another impressive statistic on Billy Smith, his 27th consecutive start for the Islanders in playoff competition.
He has been, of course, such a magnificent figure in hockey generally, but particularly with the Islanders and their race through these years of Stanley Cup successes. And he is sparking them again in this game tonight, which, if they win, will send them into the finals and that smooth skating, high-scoring Edmonton Oilers team. And if the Islanders win tonight, they will have... The Oilers will have 9. That's a long way off. And now we have this game underway in the center ice area. Dwayne Sutter bouncing it in there. In there covering up is Ludwig. He doesn't cover up well enough, but a loose puck is gobbled up by Smith. Smith is down with Hunter. Now Chuck crisscrossing. Chuck going in the other way. And the Islanders pick it up. Here is Johnson taking his time. And with the 2-0 lead, even though it's only about the midway mark in the second period, the Islanders are not going to be in a particular rush to execute. Now popped back. Ahead it goes to Nelly with that shoulder, right shoulder, down low. That goes over on the other side to Bossy. Canelli is trying to pick it away from Chelios. Chelios gets a good pass off to Smith. Here's Smith down in over the line with Gainey trying to get in front. Smith jammed onto the play very effectually. And it was Boudelier who covered up that long shot from the point was wide. Now Newell was jammed in there by Trottier and Chelios. Boudelier tying strongly up, and they get a face-off in Islanders territory.
And Dave Newell acting as if he was hurt slightly again in that traffic jam. When the playoffs started this year, nobody, you can say, knew who Steve Penny was. Hockey fans across the country especially. Now everybody knows. He's from St. Croix, Quebec. Played a couple of seasons in Flint, Michigan in the International Hockey League. This season with the Voyageurs in Halifax. Even then he wasn't their #1 goaltender. Brought up to Montreal late in the season. Played 4 regular season games and has started every game for the Canadiens in the playoffs.
I think the one thing, I thought he stood up so well at the first few games of the playoffs, but the last couple he has gone down before the shot is even directed at him. I don't know if that's a little bit of nervousness or playoff tension, but he has handled himself so well. As the years go on, he will get better.
Gillies and Bossy having scored in the first period, 40 yards. And they lead 2-0, and Naslin pumps the pass over on the right side. Mondu lost it. Boudelier got it out. Brent Sutter fakes the shot, trying to go around defenseman Hamel, as he did around Schuck for that beautiful goal in Montreal on Thursday night. There's Morrow. Not spectacular, number 6, but gets the job done. Puck is at the Canadiens line. Upended was Gilbert. Robinson starting away, leading a four-man attack for the Canadiens, swinging in over the line. Mondu to Naslin, there's a shot, and it's off the leg. Flatley playing it up on the left side, and darting back there to get it for the Canadiens. Hamel ahead. Head fake there by Shabbat. Shabbat is over the line, clearing it in, but actually it was a giveaway as Flatley was there to pick it up. 11 minutes and 59 seconds the time left in the second period. Into the corner area. They might get a whistle here. Let's see. Yes, they do.
So we've got a 2-0 hockey game. Guy Lafleur and the Canadiens trying to come back. Pat Flatley, number 8 of the Islanders, a brief resume of his hockey career. And he's young. Henry Carr High School in Toronto, the University of Wisconsin, the Canadian Olympic team, and from Sarajevo to Uniondale, New York.
Boy, does he fit into the mold of the Islanders. Very aggressive in the corners, and when he gets the puck on his stick, he also knows what to do with it. He showed that demonstration in the playoffs as he's tied for the scoring lead on the Islanders Hockey Club.
So it is 2-0. The Montreal Canadiens, who during the regular season subjected their fans to such painful disappointment and frustration, I think they've made up in part at least in the playoffs with the type of hockey that has been palpitating. And they're not out of this one yet. There's the long shot. 2-0 to score in the series. 3-2, the Islanders leading. They need the victory tonight to qualify for the finals. Canadiens with Gainey clearing it in behind the net. Chelios does the spinorama to shake off that intended check by Bossy. Now they come down to the line. A pass goes into the corner. Trombley being watched by Denis. Gillies can't clear it out. Here's Gainey getting set to pass it, and it hit a leg. Montreal still in there. Gainey has it. Gainey getting it back. Green takes a screen shot, and it went off Trombley wide. In on the board. The Islanders now are going to pick it up and clear it to the other side. Gillies against Chelios. Montreal still with it. They pump a shot in there from the line. Handled easily by Smith. Wayne Sutter ahead to Goring, and it's called on the offside.
Gary, the Islanders scored early to take the 2-0 lead. Now, we know they're very strong defensively and have a great system going, and it's worked. But did they start firing and falling back? I mean, what's their thinking when they get that early lead in a game like this one?
They play sound defensive hockey. They don't really do strong forechecking unless they have an opportunity to go in there. If the Canadiens have good possession, they just peel back. But one thing they do, Dick, is they wait for the Canadiens. They'll wait for the Canadiens to open up, and then they'll take advantage of that. But you very rarely will see the Islanders beat themselves with a 3-on-2 or 2-on-1 against. They always have the men coming back, which is so very important.
There is Ludwig clearing it out. Nyland over on this side, hopping in there with the short, choppy strides. Mondu getting it back. There's a shot. Nothing on that shot by Hamel, and he was away wide with it. LaFontaine is now on the ice, and he back passes the puck that's intercepted. Mondu over to Naslin, a sharp angle shot, and Ludwig going in there. He was bumped by Gilbert. Naslin coming to the other side, took a swipe at it, and it hopped over the glass off Morrow.
Now, the last couple of minutes, the Canadiens have had good pressure, but how many good scoring chances have they had?
We mentioned that Dave Newell, just after coming back after being patched up with the hand injury, there's an accident waiting to happen out there tonight. Boy, poor Dave, he's really been caught in the middle of it. Now they put a sign up. We might hear a bit of a cheer, maybe not. Billy Smith has broken Glenn Hall's playoff record for minutes played. So, Danny, that milestone moment that you mentioned has passed.
And the fans are not terribly impressed over the fact that a guy has played 6,900 minutes in the playoffs.
Not as impressed as you are.
Well, we were trying to fill in. We had to use something.
No, I don't want to belittle that. I think that's an enormous mark by Smith. Now Robinson in there, clearing it up on the right side. Hotman playing it in. They goes to the corner. Tonelli trying to pass it out. Here's Denis winding up with a shot. It's loose in front of the net. And the Canadiens starting out. Walter in on the right side to Smith, getting in front is Hunter. And Potvin was there for the Islanders. Here's Smith. Smith getting it into Walter. Back it goes. Chelios over this side. Robinson shooting it. And Smith is down. And into the corner, a couple of players, Smith and Trottier. And the puck is under Trottier.
Boy, I'll tell you, Billy Smith was down, Gary. I don't think he knew where the puck was on that, because he looked one way and then the other. I don't think it ever really made the net. Now, there's Alan Thicke, a familiar figure to television viewers on both sides of the border. Alan at the game tonight. He's a great hockey fan. He'll be part of the first ever NHL award show, a celebration of excellence, to be televised on the CBC network Monday evening, June the 4th. A black tie affair in Toronto. All proceeds from the dinner, jointly sponsored by the NHL and Diabetes Canada, will be used to further research and education as part of a Diabetes Canada 5-year plan. That's Monday night, June 4th, the awards presentation.
9:07 left in the second period. Will this be the night that the final chapter in the exciting and surprising playoff story of the Canadiens for '84 will be written? Or will there be another night? Will there be another chapter on Tuesday? Right now, it's 2-0. And there is Schutt turning with Shabbat. Lafleur gathering speed on the wing. Lafleur coming in. Lafleur around the net. He centered it in front. And let's see, an interference call.
Steve Schutt was dumped. Brent Sutter and Boudelier were there, and Brent Sutter now goes to the penalty box. Live on CBC, this is Stanley Cup '84.
Hey, it's a sizzling hot day in the cottage country. You lucky guys just lazing in the sun. Here's one for you.
That's my kind of music.
Now that's a good start. When you're hearing that song, Walter Light has got heart. It is hard to go wrong. It's like hay has got heart. Walter Light has got heart. Heart.
This one's got it.
11:14, the time of the interference penalty to Brent Sutter. As you look at it again, Gary, you know, the Canadiens have now been taking the play to New York.
Well, have they ever? They've enjoyed that territorial advantage. Again, though, Dick, the good scoring chances have not been there, but they are certainly getting involved in the action.
There's Smith over to Naslin, back to Robinson, the shot, a rebound. And Trottier cleared it down the ice. The Canadiens on the power play, they have Naslin, Walter, Smith, Robinson, and Chelios. The Islanders defending with Trottier and Gillies up front. On defense, Morrill and Potvin. And Gilbert sending Montreal back down the ice. If there had been just a modicum of success on the power play in this series for the Canadiens, they wouldn't be in the position they're in now. The Islanders have been very, very tough to cut. And the Canadiens have been on the power play. There's Naslin in over the line, feeding it in there. Smith behind the net, Morrill clearing it. Naslin handing it off to Smith. Now Robinson corrals it at the line, but he doesn't get it securely, and it's out over the line. Robinson playing it to Chelios. And the Canadiens look disorganized and a bit befuddled because of the very effective forechecking by Boring and Tonelli. Now Montreal trying it again with Smith in over the line. The drop pass. Naslin getting it back. Offside.
Now there's the case of Larry Robinson being a tired hockey player. Can't really get up in the play. Was a late arriving for that pass because of all the ice time that he's had in this series.
30 seconds left in the Brent Sutter penalty. Chris Chelios on the bench. Born in Chicago, grew up for the Maine in San Diego, California. Played some junior hockey in Moose Jaw. Went to the University of Wisconsin, from there to the U.S. Olympic team. And again, one of the young men who came directly from Sarajevo to the National Hockey League.
Well, if you play in Moose Jaw, you're not very far from Regina.
Right.
Now Ludwig jammed out of the play by Morrill. Mondeau giving it to Lafleur. 18 seconds left in the penalty. Green takes the shot. Loose puck in front of the net. They bang away on shut behind the net. Lafleur trying to get it away from Janssen. And Morrow has it. And Brent Sutter is under the penalty box. Sutter over to Billy Carroll. Good back checking there by Lafleur. So all in all, Canadiens' power play was not terribly impressive. How much of that was due to the great checking of the Islanders? How much was due to the ineptness of the execution by the Canadiens? We cannot break it down for you in percentage. Only Gary Dornhofer can do that. Now, the Islanders coming in. Gillies upended. He went to the ice along with Hamel. Montreal, good pass by Tremblay over to Gainey. Gainey going in, takes the shot. Low and wide. Down the ice, Hamel is after it. And that is going to be icing against New York.
Now, while we have this opportunity, we at Hockey Night in Canada would like to get well to Doug Gowan in Vancouver, who is recuperating at the time. We get back soon, Doug, and enjoy tonight's hockey game.
Well, Steve Penny in the nets for the Canadiens has now seen his team go 0 for 14 on the power play. Through their last 14 attempts, the Canadiens have been blanked by the Islanders, and that is frustrating.
Danny, you just mentioned about power play and penalty killing, your specialty teams, how important that is to winning and losing of hockey games.
Well, you know, when the Islanders get an early lead, almost invariably, what ensues is not electrifying in the way of hockey, because they check, check, check. That's the way to do it to win, but it's not the type of hockey that's going to pull you out of your seats in the rink or get you sitting on top of the television set. Now there's Flatley clearing it down the ice. So we're getting into that area where we're going to have icings. That's the second consecutive one called against the Islanders. 5:27 the time left in the second period. 2-0. The Islanders over the Canadiens.
And looking ahead, if there is a seventh game in this series, and Al Arbour certainly hopes there is not, it will be played at the Montreal Forum Tuesday night. We'll be on the air at 7:30 Eastern Time. And if there is not a seventh game, game one of the finals will be played here at the Nassau Coliseum next Thursday night. And of course, Hockey Night in Canada will cover the entire Stanley Cup final round.
Canadiens with the defense of Green and Chelios. They're in over the Islanders' line. And the Islanders knock it back from the face-off. Chelios. A pass at center, broken up by Flatley. He fell, but he got the pass away to Gilbert. Brent Sutter is the other forward for the Islanders. Canadiens at close quarters finally get it to the line, led by Shabbat, who gets it over on the far left wing, and that is offside.
You know, when hockey teams draft, it's one thing to draft good, outstanding young players, but I think, Gary, when you're an established team like the Islanders have become, you also like to draft people that will fit into your mold, and Greg Gilbert certainly seems to be one. He had the 2 goals and the big win here earlier on in the series. Good young hockey player to the Toronto Marlies.
The list goes on, doesn't it? Yeah, it seems that every player that the Islanders put on the ice can do the job. And, you know, that's one thing about the character of players. You know, when you're not sitting out, I guess the thing to do would be to pout. But the Islanders, they work hard in practice, and when the time comes to perform, they do exactly that.
When you know you're going to have a Stanley Cup check of a substantial nature in May, it's not easy to pout.
Speaking of pouting, Mark Hunter and Clark Gillies weren't too happy with each other. Now, hang on. Hunter has to be grabbed by linesman Stickle as he tried to get back at Gillies. But they now head to the penalty boxes. So, with 4:50 left in the second period, the teams will be playing 5-a-side.
I may not win every race, but I still have an advantage over these guys. I use the Gillette Atra. They don't. It has the advantage of a pivoting head. Atra is better than twin-blade razors that don't pivot. See? They don't always stay on my beard, but my Atra pivots to keep both blades on my beard longer. so I get a better shave. Close, comfortable.
Get the Gillette Atra and get the Atra Advantage.
Hey, everyone can use a little advantage.
Mark Gillies in the penalty box. So is Mark Hunter. They have gone off slashing on both players. That's 15-10.
And the Islanders in front 2-0. Potvin getting it back to Johnson. Carroll goes over on the left side. Potvin is going to lug it out. Here's Johnson with the pass. They take their time. They move in. Potvin fakes the shot right in front. Fontaine coming in there. And lost it as he cut in front of Penny. Penny, I think, has been shaken up. There's a shot by Walters. Ludwig trying to get in front, and the angle was very severe, and he couldn't get the puck on to the net. LaFontaine with Carroll in over the line. Carroll has it, and it's called on the offside with 4 minutes and 4 seconds left in the second period.
Steve Penny involved in a bit of a collision with Pat LaFontaine and Jean Hamel, the Canadiens defenseman who broke his stick on the play. He seems to be okay. LaFontaine making his first start in this series. Penny has to adjust the equipment. Here's what happened.
Well, that was quite a pass by Dennis Potvin as he set LaFontaine up. Nowhere to go but over Penny. And there is conversation around the goal now in the Montreal end as Penny is readjusting his equipment and getting ready to go.
Now we get a discussion between Brian Trottier and Dave Newell. The line, the whistle was blown originally on the offside call on the 2-on-2 break with LaFontaine and what Trottier is arguing about. 1:14 remain on the penalties. Gillies and Hunter are in the box.
And that area for the face-off right there, you're looking at the penalty box and Gillies, but we get out there on the ice now. That's just outside the Canadiens line. Here's Morrow waiting and slides a pass up on the right side to Trottier. Trottier is knocked into the boards by Green. Green trying to work from the corner area. Robinson has it. We're down to 3 minutes and 42 seconds left in this, the second period. Robinson coming out. In on the left side to Naslund. There's the shot. Off his glove. Boudelier taking over for the Islanders. It's been a rather quiet and methodically played game so far. 2-0 the Islanders. A pass on the other side. Here's Bossy. Laying it back to Morrow. The Islanders just passing it back and forth. There are 18 seconds left in the penalty. To Hunter and Gillies. Not much happening right here. As a matter of fact, nothing. Now Boudelier. Ahead to Trottier. Over the line to Bossy. Back and goes to Boudelier. Going in. And an enormous save there by Penny. And Robinson cleared the rebound. Hunter out of the penalty box. Robinson in over the line. Here's Robinson. Getting set to pass it maybe to Lafleur, who goes into the corner after it. Lafleur's attempted pass to get it in front, but off Gillies. Robinson back in for Lafleur. Here's Gainey. Naslund is getting in front. Gainey to Naslund. Naslund still with it. Lafleur was covered, and Morrow takes over for the Islanders. Morrow with Sutter and Trottier. They clear it in there, and then the Islanders making changes while the play goes on, and Chuck gathering speed. He hits the line and drop pass to Chelios. Good move by Chelios. He shot it in there. Another shot. And Chelios had an outstanding scoring opportunity after making that very elusive move to his right. Here's Chuck. Back to the line to Chelios. Chelios flicked it in there over the top of the net. Here's Lafleur. Lafleur dropping it to Smith. Smith trying to center it against Potvin. Lafleur couldn't come up with it, and Sutter just got rid of it, and the Islanders are going to be called for icing again. And the face-off back in New York territory, 1:28 left in the second period.
Well, I'll tell you, the Islanders aren't out of the woods yet in this one. The Canadiens bench is really alive. All the players through that last stretch around the Islanders net on their feet, hollering, yelling. And it's still just a 2-0 hockey game. And, Gary, it's been that way for quite a while.
Dick, the Canadiens can't be criticized for not working because they certainly are working the corners, pounding into the Islanders at every opportunity.
There's Boutilier's shot. The save by Penny. Watch Robinson right there with Trottier moving in at the goal crease, but Robinson cleared it away.
You know, from a player standpoint, like the Montreal Canadiens, they have to be very frustrated to apply all that pressure and not get the puck past Billy Smith, or even get a good scoring chance, a good clear shot from 15 feet out. It just hasn't happened.
And now let us see what will happen here. Face off to the right of Smith. We have Naslund, Mondeau, Tremblay, Chelios, and Ludwig. They're all in over the Islanders' line. And the Islanders up there with Flatley, Trottier, and Brent Sutter. As Chelios whipping it in there from center. Morrow up on the wing. That is down into Canadiens territory. Now Gilbert comes off the bench to take over from Trottier. Naslund whistling and turning. Fired it in. They had 4 players strewn across the line. And the Canadiens tried to penetrate, so they had to shoot it in. Less than a minute to go in the period. Ludwig back after it. Mondeau ahead to Tremblay. Tremblay to Naslund. Naslund with the head fake. Dropping it back. But Potvin is there for the Islanders. Ahead to Gilbert, trailing his Flatley at the line. Offside. Did that puck actually come out over the line?
Leon Stickle ruled it did. Brent Sutter and Mats Naslund got involved in a bit of a pushing match. Everybody gathering round and trying or making like they want to get into the act. Brent Sutter's first shorthanded goal in the NHL came in Montreal 2 nights ago and proved to be the winner of the Islanders' 3-1 lead that gave them the 3-2 series lead in games.
I think I talked with Brent this morning about the face-offs that they take in their own zone. You know, it's either Trottier or Sutter, and they talk about it before going in the face-off. If one has had more success than the other, he will take the draw. And in case the reason that 2 of them are out there, if one gets thrown out, the other centerman just moves right in. But that has taken quite a load off of Trottier because we saw in last year's playoffs, Trottier took all the face-offs in his own end of the ice.
And it is Trottier facing off right now against Carbonneau. 26 seconds left in the second period. Robinson shoveled it out to Carbonneau to Walter at the line, broken up by Potvin. Janssen with Carbonneau forechecking. Islanders content to pass it back and forth to kill off the clock for the rest of this period. They get it out over the line. A half dozen seconds left, and the score at the end of the second period is 2-0 for the Islanders.
Gary, sorry, Dick, the Canadiens must be very frustrated because they had another good period. They carried the play to the Islanders, worked and worked and worked, but just cannot get that good scoring chance.
What we saw throughout most of that period was some great textbook defensive hockey inside their own line on the part of the Islanders. So the Canadiens leave the ice after 2 periods, still trailing by that 2-0 score. Here again, Brian McFarland.
And Dick, the Canadiens 20 minutes away from elimination. They just can't beat Billy Smith. Oops.
I knew I'd forget that microphone sometime tonight. Here we are. Billy Smith is yet to be scored on tonight, and the boys were talking earlier about great playoff goaltenders. Billy Smith certainly one of them, as was Bernie Parent, and if they went back a few more years, they could talk about, well, Turk Broda and Terry Sawchuk and Johnny Bauer. Johnny Bauer, the man of the hour 20 years ago for Toronto, and he is the subject of Bobby Orr's Hockey Legends coming right up. Our Stanley Cup playoff coverage continues shortly with our second intermission.
Oh, have you heard the news? About Ontario's twice as fun bonus draw is back.
Oh, wonderful. Do I still get 2 jackpots for the price of 1?
That's right.
So now when I play Lotterio, I'm automatically in the second bonus draw for $250,000 each week.
That's right. But this time, it's for 8 weeks.
8 weeks? Oh, now Lotterio... Oh, now Lotterio really is twice the fun.
That's right. That's right.
You're going, you're moving, you got to keep moving. Can't hold you back, you got it, that you're on the go.
On the go. 'Cause you know you got to show. You keep it moving, keep it grooving. You just can't take it slow. Together on the go. Water powder, large fries. Icy Coke and apple pie. McDonald's and you.
Allstate asks, are you burning money? What? Are you paying too much for car insurance? Too much? Because if you are, your money's going up in smoke. Well, what should I do? Get in touch with an Allstate agent. He has very competitive rates. Really? And special discounts to keep your costs under control. Wow! So call Allstate and make sure you get the best mileage from your car insurance dollars. You're in good hands with Allstate.
CBC News with Peter Mansbridge.
Here are tonight's top stories. A shooting incident involving Pope John Paul in Seoul, South Korea. The Pope was not hurt. There are conflicting reports about what really happened. A man fired 3 shots at point-blank range, but they may have come from a toy gun. El Salvador elects a president tomorrow. The election is between Roberto D'Aubuisson, the right-wing candidate, and Christian Democrat Jose Napoleon Duarte. There was fighting today between the army and guerrilla units, and eastern El Salvador was blacked out after guerrillas blew up power lines. And 3 bus crashes in Europe. A bus carrying British tourists blew a tire and went off a bridge in Majorca. 9 people died. In Spain, a bus full of soccer fans crashed, killing 7. And in Perpignan, France, 6 people died when their bus hit a truck. Those stories and more later tonight on The National. Now back to Hockey Night in Canada.
The man was an NHL rookie at an age when many players were retiring. Johnny Bauer talks about those years with Bobby Orr.
There was some great Andy Bathgate. There's some great hockey players there. In fact, I didn't like to face any of them, tell you the truth, Bob.
Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends. Brought to you by Planters Nuts, the legend of quality and freshness. From Jamaica, the legend of Johnny Bauer.
Met a lot of legends in my time, but few as well known as this fella snacking sweepstakes. 500 Victoriaville sticks, 100 pairs of Bauer skates, and 5 Mercury Topaz cars, yours for the winning. Just pick up this entry form wherever you buy planters. Victoriaville, Bauer, Mercury, planters. Heck, we're all legends around here.
Hey, that's Bobby. Bobby? Yeah, Bobby O. Oh.
Father encouraged you to play hockey?
Well, he did later on, but I can recall when I was playing junior hockey, Bob, that when we came back home, I had about 16 stitches in my face, and he wanted to know what happened, so I told him I got clipped by a stick, and he says, that's it. He says, you know how dangerous the sport is? He says, I think you should quit and continue on going to school. But he knew that my heart was in the game, and he more or less continued on. He says, all right. He says, if you improve on your schooling, he says, you can continue on playing hockey. So I says, great. So things worked out pretty good for me.
How did you manage to join the service at 18, spend 4 years in the Army, and come back and yet play another year junior?
Actually, I told a little white lie to get in the Army, and most of my buddies were already signed, and they were way ahead of me. But when I was overseas, I came back. I still had another year of junior hockey to play. I was 16 then.
Finally, you finish junior hockey, you go to Cleveland, and they're not impressed with your equipment.
No, I came in with a pair of tube skates, and they asked me if this is the skates I was playing with, and I said yes, and he told me that I have to go on with a you're in the big leagues now, more or less, you'll have to start using a pair of regular goal skates. It took me quite a while to get used to them, but I did.
What seemed like a lifetime in Cleveland. Then the China Wall had an excellent season in New York with the Rangers, but then back to the minors. Finally to be drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs in 1958.
At the age of 33, the Toronto Maple Leafs draft you. Did you think you had had enough seasoning by then?
Well, I certainly did. I spent a lot of times there. There's no doubt about that. And I still had hopes of making the National Hockey League. There's no doubt about that. And I was very fortunate to get drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they were rebuilding their hockey club. I couldn't understand why they wanted me at first at the age of 33. But they had some youngsters there. They had some very fine hockey players. And fellows like Bobby Baugh and Carl Brewer and Alan Stanley and Timmy Horton. And, you know, we went on to win the Stanley Cup that year.
Winner of 2 Vezina trophies and an all-star selection, always a team man, Bauer was the first ever goaltender to insist his goaltending partner share the Vezina trophy with him.
Punch Imlock, a great hockey man, but very tough. And I know you had great respect for him.
I do have a lot of respect for Punch, and he gave an opportunity to stay with the hockey club. And he was a chap that more or less believed in discipline. He was an Army man. He came back and he told us that you play the way I want you to play, and things will go well, and we'll win a few cups. And we did. But he was very, very strict. Our practices were very, very tough. They were like hockey games, or, you know, we concentrated more on defensive hockey at that time. So, but he was a very fine coach, and I have a respect for him.
A great team. The man with the fedora behind the bench and the king of the poke check in goal. 4 Stanley Cups along the way. But finally, after 12 NHL years, age and failing eyesight caught up with Johnny Bauer.
John, word has it that your pads were hidden in order to get you to retire. Is this true?
It was. I exactly knew where they hid him, but Punch called me in his office, and he said to me, he says, you know, he says, I think your eyes are failing you. And I said, why? He says, you're letting in a lot of shots from the blue line. I said, that's because I'm screened. And he says, there's nobody 20 feet in front of you. How can you be screened? So he sent me down to get my eye examination. And he was right. And, of course, he didn't know, but I buffalo punched for a long time because my eyesight was failing me a little.
Any disappointments?
Not really, no. Hockey's been very, very good to me. And, you know, there's a lot of great memories in hockey for me. And so disappointment. The only disappointment I had, I think, is when I had to retire. That really hurt.
Your greatest thrill?
My greatest thrill is when we won the Stanley Cup in 61, 62, and particularly when they had our name engraved on the first Stanley Cup, because it's something I think every boy in hockey dreams of, and I felt I accomplished my mission.
How many birth certificates do you honestly have?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Bob, I got 2. One is very old, you can't read, and the other one, you can read it, but I just don't know where it is at the present time.
Was it all worth it?
It was worth it. If I had to do it again, it certainly is worth it.
Slip a little sip into a lunch break. Come on and ritz it up. No cracker gives a snack or so much class. So ritz it up. Ritz up that lunch pail. You know you just can't fail. No matter if it's plain or if it's topped. When noon rolls around, get your lunch off the ground. Take it to the top and ritz it up. Ritz crackers. Ritz it up. Oh, ritz it up.
Bobby Orr and the Hockey Legends was brought to you by Planters Nuts, the legend of quality and freshness.
Would you believe that 14 guys off stage just whispered, don't forget the microphone? True story, folks. Replay is coming up next in our second intermission.
Off to put out another fire, Griswold?
Well, Chief, I found that
I assume you called first.
Right, flight booked.
Oh?
Cars rented.
Uh-huh.
Got the best room in town.
I see.
And Max has reserved my usual table.
And?
And then I called our customer and straightened out the whole mess by long distance.
Stick around, Griswold. You'll go far.
Business long distance. Today's way to operate.
I want to car that handles well. I want to be able to do what I want, when I want.
You can't just combine front-wheel drive and a new independent rear suspension and know how it's going to feel to drive. You plan, then you drive, and you make changes, and you drive again until it works. That's how we got to Topaz.
Put Topaz to the test yourself. Take a test drive today. Mercury Topaz. Driving is believing.
As time goes by, Canada's weather can prey on your house and your house paint. The sun fades it. The heat peels it. The cold cracks it. The wetness rots it. Your defense? Canadian Tire paints. Now formulated to help stop the effects of Canada's weather. So the next time you paint, remember Canadian Tire's full line of indoor and outdoor paints. Because only the strong survive.
Over the years, your changing fuel needs have caused changes in us.
Morning, Joe. Time for gasoline.
In 1939, Esso introduced their new premium.
Esso Extra, please.
With the post-war car boom, the need for gasoline grew. Then came lower-cost self-serve.
Fill her up.
Yes, sir.
Unleaded gasoline.
Premium unleaded, please.
Diesel. And down the road, propane and future fuels. Anticipating your needs makes us better.
You make us better, you do. Esso.
Thousand surprises every week to be won.
Our $5 chicken and a good 5 strong.
Friday could be your day, good luck could go your way. Play the provincial, the weekly provincial, yes sir.
500,000 is the weekly grand prize.
So when you need a ticket, better get one today.
For the provincial lottery.
Be sure to join Wayne Gretzky, Rod Langway, and the others nominated for NHL Awards in a television spectacular. NHL Awards Night, Monday, June 4th at 8 on CBC Television.
Stanley Cup Replay is brought to you by Apple Computers and authorized Apple dealers throughout Canada.
The New York Islanders opened the scoring in tonight's game on a goal that wasn't officially a power play goal, but came as the result of a power play attack. It was scored just 1 second after Craig Ludwig's penalty ended, and it was also scored as the result of this kind of hard work. In deep in Canadiens territory, Steve Penny is down. Clark Gillies puts the puck up, and the Islanders have a 1-0 lead at 4:51. And then a Canadiens giveaway made it 2-0 when Bobby Smith was stripped of the puck outside the Montreal line by Mike Bossy, who uses Jean Hamel as a screen and beats Penny with a typical Mike Bossy shot into the top corner over the glove side. 2-0 New York. That's been it from a scoring standpoint through 2 periods of play.
Stanley Cup Replay is brought to you by Apple Computers and authorized Apple dealers throughout Canada.
Introducing Macintosh. It does all the things you'd expect a business computer to do. It does a lot of things you wouldn't expect a business computer to do. And it does some things no other business computer has ever done before. Of course, to do all this, you will have to learn to do this. Macintosh from Apple.
Home and rhythm is in my shoes. No use sitting there and singing the blues. So be my guest, you got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Hoo-wee, hoo-wee, baby, hoo-wee, hoo-wee, baby, hoo-wee, hoo-wee, baby. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? I feel like jumping, baby, won't you join me, please? Oh, darling, can't you see him on bending knee? I got to get the moving, baby, I ain't lying. My heart is beating rhythm and it's right on time. So be my guest, you got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise?
Molson Canadian. Taste that'll stop you cold.
Ooh-wee, baby, ooh-wee, 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 baby. Won't you let me take
Our Hockey Night in Canada playoff coverage continues next week. If a 7th game is necessary in the Wales Conference Final, it'll be played in Montreal, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Then the Stanley Cup Finals begin on Thursday night. The Oilers head east to meet the winners of the Wales Conference. Tuesday, if necessary, in Montreal. Thursday, the finals begin.
Clark Gillies and Mike Bossy have done the goal scoring. Billy Smith has blanked the Montreal Canadiens, and the Canadiens got just 20 minutes left in their hockey season. A season that a lot of people thought wouldn't be as long as it has been. One of the big reasons, that young man, Steve Penny. The Islanders in the lead. Danny, it's 2-0.
And the third period upcoming. The second period was probably the most boring period of the entire series. And one has to admire the manner in which the Islanders can get that lead and then check in such an effective manner, which does not lend for a wide-open hockey. The Sutter was knocked to the ice there by Ludwig. Now there's Sutter trying to shake off Ludwig. Sutter has a right over front. They score!
You talk about winning the one-on-one battle. Well, Sutter gets away from Ludwig behind the net, and you'll see Flatley in the slot. Now, keep an eye on him. Nobody around him, nobody around him. Just as the check arrives, Flatley is releasing the puck.
Gary, very reminiscent of the goal he scored in the third period in Montreal Thursday. Same idea.
Absolutely. To check Flatley, you have to get in front of him, Dick. You're not going to do the job going behind him. Trombley didn't get back there in time, and Flatley, he can get rid of that puck in a hurry. He showed it.
The time of the goal, 30 seconds. That's Flatley's 8th of the playoffs from Brent Sutter and Potvin at 30 seconds.
Brent Sutter and Potvin, there's a long shot by Smith. Flatley the goal. And the Islanders lead 3-0. And the crowd beginning to sing. And the crowd is going to be much more active in the third period as they sing. And the Islanders are about to make it into the Stanley Cup Finals. And a chance to win their 5th consecutive cup. Now Shutt fakes the shot. It's off his stick. Into the corner, Smith getting it back. Back to Robinson, there's his shot. And a booming blast was wide. Another shot by Chelios. Now in behind the net, Smith is taken out of the play. Along the boards by Morrow. Let's see who's going to get it. Hunter is in there trying to pick it up. It's down to Chelios. He bats it back in there. The Islanders can't get it out. Shutt shoots it. And it's blocked by number 6, Morrow.
From Long Island, this is Stanley Cup 84 on CBC.
Molson Canadian. Taste that'll stop you cold.
Teddy Potvin got an assist on the Flatley goal, so he is now the all-time assist leader in Stanley Cup playoff competition.
As they line up for the face-off in Islanders territory, Canadiens, everybody out. There's Potvin being chased by Tremblay. In behind the net. Dineen up on the right side, and it went off Flatley's stick. He's staying with it. He lugs it in over the line, and then Hamel gets it and knocks it back into the center ice area. The Islanders relentless in their pressure on the Canadiens now with a 3-0 goal. They'll probably be less conservative. They'll go more wide open offensively. Bossy shooting a hard shot. And Penny blocked that. So the Islanders moving up, staying on top of the Canadiens, but the Canadiens get out over the line. Tremblay to Mondu with Naslund. Naslund has it. There's the shot. The rebound. The second from the net. And a marvelous maneuver. They score! Billy Smith had pulled off a marvelous save before that. Goal by the Canadiens.
And the red, white, and blue, they just keep battling back, and it's like a sigh of relief. We finally got one by Smith. Now watch this good save coming up as Smith slides and able to keep that puck out. Now Naslund from the boards. I don't know if that changed direction. I think Tremblay reached out. He's covered by Potvin in front. I guess that serves the same purpose as getting in front by changing the direction of the puck. And you see the excitement in Tremblay. We're within 2.
And now let us see what that goal will do for the Canadiens. It's 3-1. Lafleur getting it back to Ludwig. He takes a look. Here's the announcement.
Scored by number 14, Mario Tremblay. The assist to number 26, Matt Naslund. The time of the goal, 2:47. That's Tremblay's 6th of the playoffs from Naslund at 2:47.
2:47 Tremblay from Naslund. And Chelios takes a look. There's a neat pass. Shabbat clearing it ahead. Lafleur racing in there against Morrow. No icing because of the great effort by Lafleur. Now the Canadiens cutting in front. They back away, and Lafleur had his shot go off Morrow's stick. And it's more wide open in this period than it was in the second. 3-1 for the Islanders. And there's a whistle finally for the offside.
Tonight's game is coming to you from Long Island.
Well, all set for a hot night in the town, kid?
Yes, now that I've had that rather nasty tear in my seat repaired.
Standard auto glass?
Who else can offer such friendly service? And they'll replace upholstery or install a sunroof in no time.
Looks good, kid.
Yes, Standard guarantees it every single job, in writing.
Hey, what more could you ask for?
Well, you could fix me up with nice little European models.
Too fast for you, kid.
Very funny.
And Lemaire's appearance rather stoic. 3-1. The Islanders leading. And here's Green. Ahead to the line. It's jumped to the right side to Hunter. Hunter is in over the line for Montreal. Good move by Hunter. Back to Green. There's the shot. That changed direction, and the Canadiens almost made it 3-2. Now Montreal again with Smith. Here's Smith from the side. Smith around the net trying to jam it in there. And a penalty coming up against the Islanders. This could be a big break for the Canadiens.
Stanley Cup 84 resumes in just a moment.
Molson Canadian. Taste that'll stop you cold.
Dance to the music. Dance to the music.
Benny Potvin is in the penalty box for cross-checking at 4:05, Gary, at a time of this third period when the Canadiens are starting to come back.
Now they've applied the pressure, Dick, and it's been good work. Saw the infraction in front of goaltender Bill Smith, and let's see if this power play can break loose.
And it is back to Chelios. Scores again from the shot. Loose pass. And a glorious scoring opportunity. Presented the shot on the rebound. But the nimbleness and the alertness of Smith thwarted number 22, the bullet of the Canadiens.
Well, that's been the problem, too, is when the Canadiens get a good chance, they can't put it in. Islanders, they don't make that mistake.
Montreal with Chabot at center. Shot is on one wing. Chelios is back. Nyland is on there along with Naslund. A deflection by Shutt. Islanders along the board. Let's see if they'll be able to clear it out. Yes, they do. It's down the ice. And Potvin in the penalty box has a minute and 33 seconds remaining as the Canadiens starting out slowly with Chelios ahead into the center ice area. Chabot over to Naslund. That would have been offside. Now Chelios in on the right side. There's Chabot with a shot. Broken up. And the Islanders are getting a break. Gilbert is cutting in over the line. Here's Gilbert getting set. He shoots. Big save there by Penny. And the Canadiens back quickly, led by Nyland over the line. Drop pass over the other side. They shut. He was checked. Loose puck. Big save by Smith. Excellent action here in the third period. Here comes Morrow shooting it. And it's blocked by Penny. 14 minutes and 42 seconds left in the third period. Canadiens still on the power.
Oh, look out! That glass shattered. Oh. You know,
time to have another conversation, I think.
I don't think I've seen that happen this year in a game involving the Canadiens. Fortunately, the customers, young and old and behind, no one seems to have been injured, seems to have basically fallen out toward the ice. Morrow in there checking on, I think it was Bobby Smith. Look at that. They didn't even hit that pane of glass, did they?
In fact, that wasn't even the glass where the collision took place. It took to the right of it. And the one that you see broken, it just vibrated and away it goes.
Well, well. The game has been a strange one for delays. We had a lengthy delay in the second period when referee Dave Newell suffered a hand injury. And now we've got a delay again as they repair the pane of glass. With the score, the Islanders 3 and Montreal 1. We'll return in just a moment.
How to build an expensive radial tire. You build it tough. So tough it meets or exceeds national brand specifications. You build it to last with a 5-year road hazard guarantee. In fact, you build a tire so good it can do something you might not have thought possible. It can replace one or all of the present radials in your car, no matter what brand they are. That's the way we build every Canadian Tire radial tire. It's everything an expensive tire should be, except expensive.
They are repairing the broken glass here at the Nassau Coliseum. As they are, they flash up on the screen that Potvin's career assist total is now 98, Beliveau 97, Trottier 96, and Gordie Howe 92. With Stan Mikita next in line at 91. While the Islanders are in the process of killing the current penalties, Denny Potvin, they had this break. Gilbert had the swing just a bit wide, Gary, and it cost him an angle, perhaps.
Well, Chelios had the good angle on it. I thought maybe Johnson would have tried to just get in front of Chelios and impeded him from going after Gilbert, because had that scoring chance resulted in a goal, that might have been it as far as the Islanders are concerned. Yeah, here comes that hit again. I don't think so. I think, see, it's that one next to it.
Isn't that strange?
Boy, oh boy.
There was Ken Morrow checking on Bobby Smith when all of this happened.
I have something interesting, Dick. I was watching the warm-up, and a few of the Islander fans were needling me. I had gone on record before the series started saying the Islanders would win this series. After the second game, I remember Danny and I were talking. I said, I don't think the Islanders can win 4 of the next 5. And I agreed. Well, somebody heard that remark, and they were really needling down there and said, well, what do you think of the Islanders now?
Okay, so with 38 seconds left in his penalty, Dennis Potvin sits this one out in the box. Let's rejoin Brian McFarland in our studio.
Well, Dick, before this night's over, we're going to get everybody in civvies on our telecast. Bill Root of the Montreal Canadiens is with us now. Did you see what happened down there behind that net?
Yeah, well, it looks like a pretty solid check there, and knocked the glass out, so it's going to be a while to replace it.
I was just thinking when it happened, it's pretty much the same place where Gainey was taken in by Trottier, and maybe he loosened it then. But I wanted to ask you about the reaction to the Trottier check on Gainey in Montreal. It was certainly one of the hardest checks of the playoffs, and he deserved the 5-minute penalty and maybe a little bit more. But what was the reaction generally throughout the city?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think he deserved the penalty he got. It was a very good assessment by the referee, and you know, very quick. He came up with the right decision, I thought. But I don't think that people expect Brian Trottier to do that kind of thing. And it's been said through the media, the Montreal media specifically, that he's been doing that a lot lately, the last couple years. I think, from my standpoint, it was kind of a cheap shot. I don't think Bob Gainey was expecting it. He was a little bit off the board, say a couple feet, and I think that cost him a bit. And when he got hit, and he could have been seriously injured as it was. Fortunately for us, he wasn't, you know, that badly hurt. But it's the kind of thing you don't expect from a Brian Trottier. He's too good a hockey player.
I agree with you totally, and I also have to add that had Gainey not been wearing the helmet, you shudder to think what might have happened. It's a great commercial for hockey helmets.
Oh, yes, definitely. If he hadn't had the helmet on, he might have had a concussion or even more serious after effects after he was hit. But as it was, he was still cut for 20 stitches, I believe, and you know, fortunately for him, you know, he's able to play now.
Bill, what do you fellas do when you're at a visitor's rink like this? I know you're out in the corridor there somewhere, you and Rick and the rest of the fellas. Do you all huddle together? Do you split up? How do you watch a game like this?
Oh, no. For the most part, we're trying to find a spot that we can, you know, a pretty good vantage point that we can see the game from. You know, other than the CBC room that we're in right now, there isn't too many spots available because the rink's sold out, and it's pretty difficult for us to get a good seat. But, you know, basically just fish around and see if we can find something.
Before the glass went out, the thought occurred to me the Islanders may be happy they got that third goal tonight because Montreal seems to be coming back a bit here in this third period.
Most definitely. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination we're giving up. You know, I'm sure that the team has the utmost confidence in themselves that they can come back. You know, at this point, it doesn't look great, but, you know, just one goal could turn it, and, you know, we could be right back in there.
Got to start with one. Thanks for joining us, Bill. We'll check on repairs now and go to the broadcast booth.
Well, the repairs are still in progress, but almost completed, Brian. And the glass, we've been told that Dave Newell received 8 stitches to close the wound that he picked up at his hand in the second period that caused a long delay. All right, question number 2, same subject, the delay. Now, the Canadiens were coming on. They were controlling things. They had the power play. There was some oohing and aahing with the plays in close right after the goal that was scored by Mario Tremblay, Gary Dornhofer. Now they get a delay.
That might be a good break for the Islanders, Dick, just to slow things down a little bit and give the Islanders an opportunity to regroup.
There's Mats Naslund doing a little bit of Swedish exercising in the Canadiens bench area. In Game 4 of this series, Mats became the 11th player to take a penalty shot in Stanley Cup playoffs. 3 of the 11 have scored. He didn't.
Our Hockey Night in Canada playoff coverage continues next week. If a 7th game is necessary in the Wales Conference Final, it'll be played in Montreal, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Then the Stanley Cup Finals begin on Thursday night. The Oilers head east to meet the winners of the Wales Conference. Tuesday, if necessary, in Montreal. Thursday, the finals begin.
Well, be that as it may, the locale of our next telecast is still up in the air. The Forum in Montreal or the Nassau Coliseum where we are tonight. The Canadiens, as Phil Root said, certainly are not about to say 3-1. Okay, lady, goodbye. No way. Or 3-0, I should say.
We all know we have wonderful hockey fans from one end of the country to the other in Canada. And one of the most dedicated, I'd like to salute right now, Mr. Roy Scantlebury of Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. He will be 100 tomorrow. Congratulations, Mr. Scantlebury. And now the Canadiens on the power play. Robinson took a shot, and it was blocked inside the line by Brent Sutter. We have 25 seconds of time remaining in the Potvin penalty as the Canadiens clear to the right wing at Sutter. Islanders leading 3-1.
There's Chelios, back to Robinson, 10 seconds left in the penalty. Robinson darts in there, but doesn't penetrate very far. It's knocked back out over the glass.
You know, Denny Potvin and the Islanders have had a 3-2 lead in a Stanley Cup playoff series 8 times prior to this year. And they have won 7 of those 8 rounds. The only time that they lost 2 straight to lose in 7 games was against Toronto in the 1978 quarterfinals when Lanny McDonald scored the series-winning goal in overtime on Chico Resch here at the Nassau Coliseum.
It is Mondu at center. Shot on one wing, Hunter on the other, Chelios and Green back in the center ice area. And now Potvin is back in circulation for the Islanders. Janssen to Potvin. Classier sets up Tonelli, darting in on the right side. Tonelli taken out of the play by Green. He stays with it. And the Canadiens with Chelios from in front of the net. Let's see what's happening over there. Tonelli and Green. Now we have a Hunter and Tonelli. So we are going to have a visitation or two to the penalty box.
I think Hunter wanted to get Tonelli in there for another 2. This Stanley Cup playoff game is coming to you from Long Island.
In just 2 years since its introduction, this compact pickup has leapt ahead of all its competitors, overtaken the imports, overtaken the domestics. Ford Ranger, now #1 in compact pickups. #1 in sales. In North America, Ranger outsells Chevy S10, Toyota, and Nissan. #1 in quality. Owner survey shows no one beats Ranger, import or domestic. And now Ranger is #1 in price, lowest of any compact pickup. Ford Ranger, #1 in quality, sales, and value. And built Ford tough.
Rick Green of the Canadiens is in the penalty box. So is John Tonelli of the Islanders. They have been penalized, both of them, for high sticking. That's 6:27 in this third period.
We have Classier and Bossy up front. For the Islanders and for the Canadiens, we have Carbonneau and Gainey, and the Islanders are starting out, led by Potvin. Left wing pass. Classier is cutting. Around the net, getting set to Bossy. Bossy over on the other side to Janssen. Janssen takes a shot, and it was blocked in front. Now the Canadiens trying to get possession. Ramel in there after Bossy. Carbonneau tied up and knocked to the ice by Classier. Carbonneau going to the other side with Classier trailing. And here's Gainey losing it. Bossy playing it back to the line. Potvin kept it in, and now it's back into the center ice area. Islanders going to the attack. They're stopped by Carbonneau. 3-1 for New York over Montreal, and in the penalties there are 52 seconds remaining. There's Chelios turning at center. Robinson slides to the left side. Robinson over the line to Naslund. Naslund playing it in for Robinson, who is tied up and taken in on the boards by Janssen. Gillies is trying to get in there to assist. Robinson, Gillies, and Janssen fall. Back it goes. Chelios kept it in, dancing in on the left side, upended by Potvin. Now Chelios fell again. Schutt is keeping it in there. Here is Schutt doing some fancy work, trying to set up Robinson. And the Islanders with Potvin clearing it down the ice, and are going to have icing against New York.
And the whistle goes with 4 seconds remaining in the penalties to Rick Green and to the bearded John Tonelli. 11:37 remaining in regulation time. So the clock is starting to become a factor, Gary, in this third period.
Yes, it certainly has, Dick, but again, you know, you can't say enough about the Montreal Canadiens and how they've handled themselves. They were decisive underdogs going into this series for the conference championship, and they have battled the Islanders. I guess Game 3 is the only one where they were really out of it, and Jacques Lemaire has done a job to prepare his team for the New York Islanders. And as I had said before, if they're playing any other team, they conceivably could be ahead in the series. But they're playing the New York Islanders.
Now Smith took a shot. That angle was almost impossible. Canadiens in along the boards. They get a whistle and another face-off in Islanders territory.
Again, Arbor using Trottier and Sutter in the defensive end of the ice to look after the face-off. And it seems that when the puck is to the left of Billy Smith, Trottier will take it, although they will both confer and see who they've had the most success with. This time it's Trottier. You guard against Smith going back to the point.
Trottier tipped it into the center ice area. Amel to Ludwig, back on the other side, into the center ice area. A solid body check by Gilbert on Walters. Now Brent Sutter gets in there, but twisting and turning successfully. Ludwig, but they can't get it out, and there's a stick above the shoulder making contact. Hunter having words with Sutter.
Mark Hunter is awfully quick to gather a crowd in tonight's game. And he jumped right in there.
You know, every team needs players like that, Dick, to get things stirred up. When I played with the Philadelphia Flyers, we had probably one of the best, Mad Dog Kelly. Just wind them up, send them out the ice, and you've got immediate interest.
One of Danny Gallivan's favorite stir-uppers, eh, Danny? Mad Dog Kelly?
The Hound Dog.
The Hound Dog, that's it.
Boy, he'd give you action when he get out there. Remember that final game, 2-0 in Buffalo with Heron?
Got the winner. Would you believe that? The Hound Dog scored the winner.
Now Chelios to Green. Green is forced back. Takes his time, and the look, and the pass goes off the stick. Montreal having difficulty getting organized. Now they try it with Mondeau to Tremblay, who fakes the shot, and offside, gaining on the left wing.
Very interesting point right here. The Canadiens had Matt Naslund out, opposite Mike Bossy. Now, Naslund is basically an offensive player. They need goals. Yet as soon as the puck was dropped, Naslund left the ice, and Gainey, a defensive player, took over.
Well, Jacques Lemaire hasn't strayed from his line matchups. You know, he wanted Gainey against Bossy throughout the series, and also he wanted Carbonneau against Trottier, and he's tried to use that line matchup whenever possible. But I think we're getting to a stage, hey, we need goals. Let's get your offensive player on the ice.
Well, the stage is exactly 10 minutes and 33 seconds away from the end of regulation time, and the Islanders are leading by 2. Chelios playing it ahead. Mondeau trying to shake off Potvin. Cleared it in for Gainey. Deneen giving it to Bossy, and he just got rid of it. Chelios on the other side to Green. He knifed it in over the line. And Potvin laying it back down the ice. So the Islanders take this opportunity with the puck in the Canadian zone to make wholesale changes as Green lugs it into the center ice area. Lost it to Gillies. Gillies the pass. Intercepted by Hunter. Hunter ahead to Smith with the head fake in on the right side. Walters getting in front. Here's Hunter. Walters still in front. Gillies handed it off, and Dwayne Sutter shoots it down the ice, and that's going to be icing against New York.
And the whistle is blown with 9 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in regulation time. 3-1 Islanders lead.
Oh no, I dropped it. It's broken. Can't somebody make a flashlight that'll work when you need it?
Duracell just did. Introducing DuraBeam, a flashlight that really works when you need it. DuraBeam's casing is as tough as a football helmet. The lens is shatterproof. It'll throw a light 50% brighter than ordinary flashlights. And obviously, it's weatherproof. Ask him how important that is. DuraBeam, new from Duracell. It really works when you need it.
Face off to the right to Smith. Montreal with Robinson along with Hamel playing up. Chabot is looking for it. Lafleur goes to the other side. Boudelier got it to the line, and it is offside. You know,
Bay Roberts is a delightful little community not far from St. John's, Newfoundland. Minor hockey is a big, big item there. And toward the end of minor hockey and for the rink campaign, there's a banquet Saturday, May the 26th. So we recommend to hockey fans in that area patronage of that affair on May the 26th. Now Boudelier to Morrow. Morrow slides it over on this side to Boudelier. He'll shoot it in. Coming in from the other side is Flatley, number 8, and he belts Hamel. Flatley has a big goal in this game. Early in the period, this third period, he got the third goal for the Arc. They lead 3-1 if you've just joined us. Canadiens shooting it down the ice. Back after it goes Morrow. Shabbat got it away from him. Boudelier coming up with it. Gilbert on the left side. Flatley on the other wing, who takes the pass from Morrow. And just lobbed a long shot in towards Henny. Now right out in front. LaFontaine was turned around. Gilbert struggles to the boards against Shabbat. Up to the line, Janssen poked it back in, and the Canadiens are going to lug it into the center ice area. LaFontaine coming back in over the line. Offside.
Thomas Janssen wound up with room to fire the big slapper. The puck was poked away by Dennis Potvin.
It's called good puck pursuit, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Well, there was Dennis. And you see the time remaining in this third period. But the Islanders ahead by 2.
Janssen shot it in, blocked by Ludwig. There's the lead pass. Janssen got back, pulled off a good play. He deflected that pass. It was tended for Wallers. He would have been in there. Ludwig takes a shot, loose puck in front. And the Islanders starting out. Ludwig giving something a pass, clearing at the center, working hard for the Islanders, scoring. Back to Potvin, 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. Potvin shooting it, and went off Chelios' stick. Now trying to get out from the corner. The Islanders, Bossy. Pinelli works hard, tried to set up Bossy. It was deflected by Ludwig. Ludwig to Tremblay. Tremblay with Naslund. Tremblay taking the shot. Bossy clearing it ahead. Pinelli coming in. Trottier up on the play, getting in front. A pass intercepted by Tremblay with Mondu in over the line. Tremblay again taking the shot, shooting it and flipped it to the side of the net, and Smith grabbed it.
Well, Al Armour came up with a much-discussed move in this series, splitting up Brian Trottier and Mike Bossy after the first 2 games at Montreal where the Canadiens were winners. But tonight he has put them back together again for the most part, Gary, mainly with John Pinelli on the left side.
Well, of course, when you're down 2-0 and your attack has been frustrated by the relentless checking of the Canadiens, you have to make a change, and that's the responsibility of your coach. He made a daring move, and perhaps not so daring, as he split up the combination that had been together since day 1. But a lot of coaches do that through the course of the season, get used to playing with other players.
There's the screen shot by Green, and it was wide by about a foot. Trottier dumped it in, goes to the Islanders bench. Islanders in there fighting furiously. Brent Sutter getting it back. He's deflected down the ice. Striding back is Morrow, in pursuit is Hunters. 3-1 for the Islanders. 6.5 minutes left in this series unless the Canadiens come back. And they're giving it a great shot here in the third period. They've had perhaps their best scoring opportunities, and therefore it is only natural that you record their only goal of the game in the third period. Tremblay down on the right side, shoved out of the play by Dwayne Sutter. Deneen to the other side, pitching in is Mondu again, scoring. Now here's Tremblay, and he missed it behind the net. A left wing pass. Down the ice it goes. Let's see who touches it. No icing in any case was about to be called. Now Mondeau in over the line. Mondeau couldn't penetrate. Off bad. Out the center with Goring. Gillies is trailing in over the line. To Goring. Canadian Chelios stopped it, and there's a slashing penalty coming up against the Canadiens.
And it comes with 5:33 left in the third period.
This is the 1984 Lawn Boy Supreme, powered by an engine designed to last 50% longer than most other lawnmower engines. This Lawn Boy can do the work of 5 lawnmowers. It cuts, side bags, rear bags, mulches. It'll even shred leaves. Summer after summer, year after year. The hard-working 5-in-1 lawnmower by Lawn Boy. Lawn Boy. As time goes by, you'll know why.
Matt Naslund of the Canadiens had only one minor penalty call against him in the first 14 games of the playoffs this year. He now has drawn his second playoff minor penalty, flashing the call at 14:27.
And the Islanders in front by 2. So with this penalty to Naslund is going to take away the offensive thrust by the Canadiens. They're hoping, of course, they can score a shorthanded goal. Coming in is Bosney, shot, rebound. Cleared, not out. Here's Johnson over on this side to Boudelier. He cleared it in on the board. Rossier trying to get it. Gillies was spun around in front of the net by Hamel, who has lost his helmet. Here's Johnson into Bossy, trying to set up Rossier. There's a shot by Boudelier wide. Right in front of the net comes a wild pile-up. And Green struggles to come up with it for the Canadiens. He does. And is shooting it down the ice. So the Islanders want that 4th goal.
Danny, one of the best battles I've ever seen in front of the net was Clark Gillies involved for the Islanders. And Rick Green. Oh.
Now here's Bossy. Shoots, goal!
If you were Red Auerbach of the Boston Celtics, you would light up a cigar. But let's watch the sniper, Bossy.
Well, Penny seemed to get a bit of it. I guess, Gary, if you want one player to be in that position at that particular time, it's Mike Bossy. His second goal of the hockey game. Big pressure by the Islanders on the power play.
Well, he had time to unload it. Dick took one stride, had a look. That was the key. He knew exactly where he wanted to put that puck, and in it goes.
So the Islanders lead 4-1. There's a shot by Robinson. Here's the announcement of the goal.
Scored by number 22, Mike Bossy. The assist to number 17, Greg Gilbert, and number 4, Paul Boudelier. The time of the goal, 15:36. That's Bossy's second of the game with 8 in the playoffs from Gilbert and Boudelier. Power play goal at 15:36.
After the second game, Lauren Henning, the assistant coach, said that Bossy had lost confidence. And we all just shrugged and said, how can a guy of Bossy's caliber lose confidence in himself? Why can't it happen to him? It can't happen to anybody. But one thing about Bossy, he's going to snap out of it a lot sooner than a Dornhofer would.
You never lost confidence in your goal-scoring ability, did you, Gary? Oh, I see. Well, the fans have started to sing. They were singing when it was 3-0. They stopped singing when it was 3-1. They have picked it up again on the Bossy goal at 15:36 from Gilbert and Boudelier to make it 4-1 New York.
And now Potvin ahead to Brent Sutter. Flatley is coming up in the play to Flatley. Shoots. And it was blocked by Penny. Robinson lugging it into the center ice area. Canadiens down by 3.
watching, there's a chant that has started up, "We want Gretzky." I can remember the same thing last year when the Islanders were in the process of eliminating the Bruins to go ahead into the final round. Now, you mentioned Clark Gillies in front of the net. He was doing quite a job.
Well, Mike Bossy gets paid to score goals, and Clark Gillies has done an excellent job getting in front. This isn't the one coming up. Now it'll start. I mean, he's battling with Rick Green there. They're shoving, they're pushing, they're grinding. Gainey gives them a push, but look at that. Takes 4 guys to get that tree stump out of there.
But I want to tell you something. John Nell was the one who pushed him down. He has played himself into exhaustion in this series. Likewise Green, likewise Robinson. They've carried a tremendous load.
And now we are down to 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in regulation time. Islanders that far away from a berth in the Stanley Cup Finals and an opportunity for their 5th consecutive Stanley Cup. I think if they get in, and right now it looks as if they're going to get in, I think it's going to be a great series with the Oilers.
Well, Danny, I remember talking to the players of the Oilers all year. They could hardly wait to get back in. They said they learned a lot by playing against the Islanders last year about discipline, character, and they would like an opportunity. Well, they are going to get that opportunity to meet the Islanders head on.
Now it is Robinson ahead to Walter. And the Islanders clear it back. In over the line for Dwayne Sutter. Ludwig to Smith with Nyland and Walter. And again, see those forwards coming back for the Islanders with the result. They had 5 men at the blue line. Had no difficulty storming the Canadiens as they tried to penetrate. And they are singing here on Long Island. Now back to the point to Gillies. In behind the net. To the other side to Billy Carroll against Walter. Robinson trying to get it. Dwayne Sutter to Gillies. Here's Gillies back to the line to Morrow. Canadiens are going to clear it out over the line. Robinson coming down to the line. Winds up with a shot. And he rattled that one off the leg of Morrow. Probably a shot blocked by Smith. I think that was a question of hitting Smith more than Smith making a move. We're down to 150. Now Walter behind the net. Canadiens playing it to the far side. Here's Robinson. Robinson turning. He flips it. Billy Smith has it.
The Montreal Canadiens aren't the Edmonton Oilers when it comes to scoring goals, but let's mark this right now. After they took a 2-0 lead in the series, the Canadiens now, with a minute 40 here, let's say in 4 games, since they had the 2-0 series lead, have scored 5 goals.
Is that shutting you down? And that's why the battle, as we're seeing a battle on the ice, the battle against the Oilers is the top offensive team against a solid defensive hockey club.
Bobby Smith of the Canadiens, who has come under some criticism for his lack of scoring, suddenly is beginning to show some energy in a physical type way right here toward rookie Gord Dineen. And Mike Bossy says to the kid, back off, forget it.
Dick, the record of the Islanders defensively speaks for itself. But have you noticed in the games how well they play offensively, not topping that puck up? They're always moving the puck behind the Canadiens' net. You know, they don't throw it out in the slot blindly and cause that giveaway. So they're disciplined in all areas of the ice.
Well, it will be Thursday night for Game 1 of the finals. The Oilers and the Islanders, a repeat of last year, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It'll be right here at the Nassau Coliseum.
And in this series, a minute and 33 seconds remaining. The Islanders leading 4-1. They clear it up on the right side, and that is an offside.
I might point out that this year the NHL is changing its schedule scheduling routine for the final series. They will play 2 games here. They will play 3 games if the third is necessary, the 5th game in Edmonton, and then come back if there are games 6 and 7 here in New York rather than 1-1-1 after the game 4. Well, I tell you, I don't know what may take place, Gary, in the final series, but up to this point in the playoffs, despite what the score is here tonight, the big team story has been the Montreal Canadiens, a team that lost more games than in any time in the history of its franchise getting this far.
I agree.
Now here's Tonelli. Shooting it in. Bossy is trying to get it. Tonelli moves over to the other side to confront Schutt. Schutt having difficulty making progress on the left side. Less than a minute to go. Tonelli playing it to Trottier. It's just academic now. We'll await the explosion by the Islander fans at the end of the game. They are standing now. Canadians, 3 of them at center. In over the line. Chabot is spun around. Tonelli bumping in the corner. Nyland hit Tonelli with his stick. And let's see. The linesman is stopping the play. And I think the linesman is going to tell the referee.
And very wisely, linesman Ron Finn is arranging for Chris Nyland to leave the ice.
The last thing we needed was a draw, Danny, and like you say, Dick, a very good move. Ushering Nyland to the dressing room.
The last thing you need is a play like that. So the rugged Mr. Tonelli gets up. You know, it's going to be interesting. We've seen here tonight what a tremendous system the Islanders can throw at the opposition inside their own blue line. And it's a 5-minute classic penalty on Nyland. Now they're going to be up against the biggest scoring machine in hockey history. I tell you, it's going to be just a classic matchup.
Well, the Oilers have been a gambling hockey club. They gamble on offense, and I don't know if that can win against the New York Islanders. We'll have to wait and see.
Well,
you have to be patient against a team like New York.
You know, people are saying, well, look at how long it's been since Edmonton defeated the Islanders, and that's true. But by the same token, throw everything that's gone past out the window when they drop the puck for a playoff series. Look at Calgary. It's right in the 7 games. Look what Montreal did against Boston. You know,
Look at the Islanders. They were behind in every series and came back to win. I mean, you can go on and on and on. Your turn, Danny.
Yes, I see Robinson is picking up a penny. I don't mean a penny, but somebody tossed some coins in the Canadian zone. 19 seconds left in the series. Nyland with a major to end the season for him. They're singing the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's all over. And the Islanders win 4 in a row to take the Canadiens in 6 games. Congratulations to the Islanders, a truly great hockey team. Bravo, Montreal Canadiens, for a very unexpected and exciting playoff set.
Islanders 22.
So Al Arbor remains calm, cool, and collected as he usually is. Not always. Now we get the coaches meeting to shake hands as Billy Smith, who won't shake hands with anybody, leaves the ice. But we had the coaches shaking hands along the boards here at ice level. And now we get the players shaking hands. Well, I think, Gary, a much better series than a lot of people thought it would be. Jacques Lemaire's Canadiens, as you correctly pointed out, only in the one game, Game 3, here in New York, were they out of it. And they weren't out of this one.
No, they weren't. They close to a game planned. Unfortunately for the Canadiens, they didn't have the snipers that were able to put the puck in the net. Guy Lafleur, you always were able to count on him to get goals, was unable to score. And you just have to have that scoring punch up front. Penny will be back
the Montreal Canadiens. Very proud of the way he handled himself, and he'll be their #1 goaltender next year.
So we are going to have the presentation now of the Prince of Wales Trophy. Now, you know what? If we had a microphone down there, we would get in a conversation totally in Swedish. Thomas Johnson and Matt Nassau. So Gil Stein of the National Hockey League front office is presenting the Wales Trophy to Islander team captain Dennis Potvin. And this place is Bedlam. Oops, look out. The trophy fell apart. Well, the trophy might have come apart, but the Islanders' defense did not. Well, there's more to come when the finals start Thursday night. And Hockey Night in Canada will be here in just a moment. Our Molson 3-star selection.
Esso Motor Oils. Tested on the longest road in the world, where the heat can fry you, or the cold freeze you solid. That road begins here at the Esso Research Center, where Esso Motor Oils are driven to the limit to give you the great engine defense you want. Efficient engine performance, longer engine life. Where does this road end? For Esso, it never does. It's coming through for you that makes us better.
Introducing telephones from General Electric, designed to deliver clear, natural sound, constructed with gold-plated contacts for years of reliable performance, engineered with sophisticated features like 9-number memory, one-touch redial, and emergency dialing. The remarkable new GE telephones. The quality rings true.
This summer, the ultimate experience in sport. The Olympic experience on CBC television.
The Islanders win the hockey game by a 4-1 score. They win the series 4-2, and the 3 stars in tonight's hockey game. #1 star was Clark Gillies. Was a threat all the time tonight, scored the opening goal, was very big in the slot. And the #2 star was Mike Bossy with a pair of goals. He's back on the beam again. And the #3 star, the goaltender, Billy Smith, just superb again as he has been throughout the playoffs. And I wonder if you'll shake hands with an old announcer. I know you don't shake hands too often with the opposing players after.
I just don't shake hands on the ice. I just don't believe in shaking it on the ice. If one of them come up to me off the ice, like Larry Robinson, who I know very well, or even Penny, I'd be glad to shake his hand, but I just don't believe in the ritual on the ice.
Okay, we got that straightened away. What did you think about that Nyland Tonelli incident at the end? You had a front row seat of that.
Well, you know, they both ran each other in the corner, and then when they came out, I just looked, and I kind of expected it from him, you know, because he's been doing a lot of stick work throughout the whole game. But to spear a guy at the end of a hockey game, there's not much to it.
Okay. I want to talk about the records. You keep setting a record every time we look around. Most minutes played now. Most appearances in the playoffs. I think it's 118. Most playoff victories. Broke Dryden's record earlier. Do you take much count of all these records you're setting?
No, in fact, I kind of dislike them because it shows how old I'm getting.
Well, how do you feel? Do you feel old?
Oh, no, I feel really good. I got a great hockey team in front of me, and I think that's more or less what keeps me going. They score the big goals when I need them, and you know, it's a team effort, and they're making me look awful good out there.
Well, Bill, you've been candid with me, and I'm going to be candid with you. I saw you play a couple of times late this season. I said, oh, he doesn't look too sharp in regular season play. I wonder what he's going to do in the playoffs. Do you just relax a little bit as the season winds down and save it all up for an occasion like this?
Well, really, all year long, it was tough. Like, we carried 3 guys, and we tried to look at all 3. So, you know, Al was good to me. He was giving me a lot of rest and everything, but I think it caught up to me. But when I got down to February, he started to play me more. And I had a couple of bad games in order to get myself going. But, you know, coming into the end of March, like from March 15th on, I really started getting my game together. And little things started falling into place, and you know, they did it just before we hit the Rangers.
Have you got a final word for Wayne Gretzky, who's watching tonight, Glenn Anderson, those fellas?
Oh, it's going to be a great series. Let's face it, they're a great hockey team. We've had trouble with them all year. You know, we know what they're going to do, and it should be a very exciting series. I just hope a few people keep their mouth shut this year.
Okay, thank you very much, Billy. The final score again tonight, the Islanders won it 4-1 over the Montreal Canadiens. Hockey Night in Canada playoff coverage continues next week. If a seventh game is necessary in the Wales Conference Final, it'll be played in Montreal, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Then the Stanley Cup Finals begin on Thursday night. The Oilers head east to meet the winners of the Wales Conference. Tuesday, if necessary, in Montreal. Thursday, the finals begin. A couple of bullets by Mike Bossy helped do in the Montreal Canadiens tonight as the Islanders skated off with their 4-1 victory, and Mike Bossy must feel particularly happy because you were struggling a bit early in the season. I think you were really upset with yourself more than anybody.
Well, I really was upset with myself. I missed 13 games this year, and you know, as Billy was saying, his lack of play sort of caught up with him. It sort of caught up with me too, where I didn't have my timing and my confidence really going into the end of the season, and you know, the playoffs really haven't been that much better, except that in this series I have been putting the puck in the net a little more.
Oh, you can see it coming now. Second game, I think you're a bit off form, and but when you've got a guy like Billy Smith, he's a delight to talk to, I'll tell you. Back there in the goal, playing like he does, it just has to boost the confidence of the whole hockey club all the way.
Well, that's true. We realize that Billy's the best goalie in the league, and especially during playoffs, and you know, he comes up with the big saves, and when he does that, it just stimulates us more to go on the offense and get him a couple of goals.
Mr. Penny was just tremendous throughout the playoffs, and a little frustrated tonight when he found himself facing you twice in the hockey game. First goal was a bullet, and the second goal we're going to see now, and maybe you can tell us a bit what happened here. Coming up, the goal by Mike Bossy. Here it is.
Well, the puck came in and it was bounced off the boards. Greg stole it from him and saw me back there. I was going to shoot it right away, but I figured I'd wait, and then he was totally screened there. He didn't see it till the last second, and he really made...
almost got it.
He almost got it. Yeah. He made the move a little too early, though, because it went under his glove. I guess because he didn't see it, and he thought maybe it was coming harder than it actually was.
Did it take you by surprise when Al Arbor split you and Brian Trottier up during the playoffs?
No, not really. He's done that quite often in the playoffs before, where we've had a checking line out against us, and I think especially this year with the addition of Pat Flatley, who can put the puck in the net just as well as I can. I think that it's easier for him to put someone else out there instead of me with Brian.
Well, I thought Pat Flatley played a starring role tonight, and another Pat LaFontaine, is almost 100% again, and he could figure prominently in the series upcoming with Edmonton. How do you look at that series?
Well, it's going to be tough. I think that we've had it tough up until now. We've struggled against every team that we've played against. It hasn't been easy, and I don't look for it to be any easier against Edmonton. You know, as Billy was saying, I think both teams get very, you know, intense when we play each other, and you know, now they're going to be wanting to make up for last year's loss against us, and you know, we're going for the 5th cup, so it should be very interesting.
Well, good luck to you. It should be a thrilling series coming up, Mike, and a great game tonight.
Thank you.
Mike Bossy of the Islanders. We'll have more on Stanley Cup 84 coming right up.
You're going, you're moving, you got to keep moving. Can't hold you back, you got it bad, you're on the go.
On the go, 'cause you know you gotta show. You keep it moving, keep it grooving, you just can't take it slow. Together on the go, McDonald's, quarter pounder, large fries, McDonald's, icy Coke and apple pie, McDonald's and you.
The Hot Value Capri. You won't believe it.
Driving is believing.
Capri and Capri GS sport over $800 worth of options at no extra cost when you buy power steering. You get AM, FM stereo, premium sound system, light proof, interval wipers, tinted glass, right-hand remote mirror, tilt steering wheel, all at no extra cost. Over $800 worth of options when you buy power steering.
Believe it.
Mercury Capri. Driving is believing.
Have you ever noticed that sometimes the best you can do is settle for second best? Now you won't have to with the new R-Series riding mower from John Deere. You see, they don't cost more than ordinary riders, but they're built with extraordinary features and first-class John Deere quality. So now, for the price of someone else's mower, you can have one of ours.
Down-to-earth values on now at participating John Deere dealers.
Olympic Weather Screen Oil Stain screens out the weather to give your home extra protection. Olympic Weather Screen has linseed oil and additives that penetrate wood and repel water. Extra Protection Weather Screen helps preserve the beauty of the wood. We have the inside on outside protection. Olympic.
The Islanders win the series 4-2. They win the hockey game 4-1 tonight. And Serge Savard, the general manager of the Canadiens, is with us now. Serge, I'm sure you have a few words first about the Islanders and then about your own club.
Well, I think we got beat by a better club, probably the best club in the National Hockey League. We had to. I'm very, very proud of my players, the way they've been playing in the last 15 games. We had to play very close to a perfect game to win against the Islanders. We did. We needed the break. We didn't really get the break in the last few games, but I think we came very close of winning the series. I'm so proud of my club, and especially about Gainey. This guy played with 2 separate shoulders, which nobody knew about it. I never seen a player to play like he was.
That is news. It is also remarkable that he was able to do that. You've talked about your players. In retrospect, the coaching change, it seems to have worked to the benefit of the Montreal Canadiens. Lemaire, I thought, did a fine job down the stretch.
Well, when he took over, he brought in his own system, and I think when this team start to believe in themselves and start to believe that they had to play together, they start to play as a team, and the success came right away, and they all believe in what Jacques told them, and they really follow the system. We knew we didn't have much scoring ability on this club, and we developed a system of defensive play, and everybody played so well. That's the way we beat Boston, we beat Quebec, and against the Islanders, we just happened to play against a better club because we had our chances. We won the first 2 games. With a little luck, we could have won one of the last 2 games, but I'm sure the best club won.
I know you can't speak for Guy Lafleur, but he has to be thinking about himself, and he will have time to do that. Do you think he will retire from hockey?
Well, it's very too soon to tell. I know he had a real tough time the last couple of months, but he's not that old. He's only 32 or 33 years old, so I think he'll have to think about it in the summer himself, and that's a decision that an athlete has to take. He's still under contract with 2 more years with us.
Okay, you've done a fine job there, Serge. We miss you on the ice, but I know you're going to have a long and fruitful career as a general manager in Montreal. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Let's go upstairs briefly.
Well, Serge Savard said it very, I think, correctly. The Islanders are a better hockey team. Let us from the broadcast booth area add our congratulations to the Islanders and certainly to the Canadiens. And before we get to talk about the Edmonton Oilers, which I think we'd like to do up here, I'd like you to say just a word about the players who played defense for the Montreal Canadiens, Gary, in this series, because all things considered, they put on quite a show.
They certainly did, Dick. And, you know, that's really the name of the game, is what you do behind your blue line. And when you play with 5 defensemen back there, it's very tiring, especially when you have to put up with the forechecking, you know, of the opposition. The Islanders, I mean, they keep coming at you, and the toughest way to play is with your head against the glass all the time. I mean, just you get the puck, you're looking at the fans, because that's the way the Islanders play. And I have a great deal of respect for the Montreal Canadian organization and the way they play. They were fantastic.
Will the Edmonton Oilers players get to be on a first-name basis behind the glass with the fans here starting next Thursday night? Can they do the same thing?
Dick, it's going to be very interesting. I've watched the Oilers play a lot of hockey. They're an explosive hockey club. They can put the puck in the net. Their record speaks for itself. I question whether they're mentally tough enough. That will be the key in the series. Can they match the Islanders in toughness along the boards? Can they generate those scoring opportunities that the Canadiens were unable to do? You saw the coverage today that the Islanders put on time and time again. Will the gambling offense by the Oilers hurt them? Can they be a patient hockey club? Can they get the goaltending from Grant Fuhr that Billy Smith was providing from the Islanders? And we can go on and on and on.
The players, they wanted another chance. They said they learned a lot from playing against the New York Islanders last year. They wanted a chance to get even. Baby, they're going to get that chance starting next Thursday.
I think a key to this series very quickly was the Canadiens' lack of success on the power play. Quickly, can the Islanders do the same thing to the Oilers' power play? We don't know, but what do you think?
I don't know either, Dick, but I know that the Oilers have on their power play an explosive attack. They have the Gretzkys, the Messies, the Andersons, the Coffey. They can get it going.
Okay, Gary, thanks very much. Great working with you again. Now let's rejoin Brian McFarland in our studio.
Well, Dick, a couple of old St. Lawrence University grads back together again after a number of years. And Bill Torrey, you've done an amazing job building this team into a 4-time Stanley Cup champion, perhaps a 5-time champion. You got the right guy behind the bench, don't you, in Al Arbour?
Well, there's no question, Brian. We wouldn't have won what we've won without Al Arbour. He's been the guy that has put it all together.
But you know what you've given them? You've given them a good blend of youth and experience, and you keep those kids. I don't know where you get these guys like LaFontaine and Flatley. I don't know what the other GMs are doing, but you've got them in there, and Gilbert came through for you, and young Dineen looks like a good one on defense. So it looks very good for the playoffs coming up with Edmonton and also for the years ahead.
Well, our younger players this year, because of the injuries we've had to go to them, and they were ready. Al got them ready, put them in a little bit here and there along the season towards the end so that, you know, when the time came that if we had to use them, they'd be there, and they played extremely well.
Glenn and Wayne and the boys are wondering how many of those injured players will be back.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know, but certainly the next 4 or 5 days off is going to help us in that regard.
Okay, good luck. It should be a great series coming up, and our Stanley Cup wrap-up continues shortly.
Here's a name to remember for spark plugs. Copper Plus, the latest and best ever spark plug from Champion for just about every domestic and imported car sold in Canada. From Chrysler to Toyota, from Buick to Volkswagen, and everything in between. Copper Plus for top performance, no matter what you drive. Nothing sparks like a Champion, guaranteed.
Meet a banker whose only business is business. A new breed of banking specialist from Bank of Montreal. He's part of a new nationwide commercial banking network established to better meet business needs. Because commercial banking is his only business, he has in-depth knowledge of commercial banking needs. He also has a range of innovative ideas to help businesses grow. Meet a banker from Bank of Montreal. First bank for business, not just money, ideas.
IBM introduces PC Junior, a bright little addition to the family. Junior comes with bright computer ideas, like a keyboard that doesn't need a cord. You can get easy-to-use software like word processing, games and graphics your kids won't believe, plus a starting price you won't believe. And with easy-to-add options, Junior can grow up real fast. PC Junior, new from IBM.
When you buy a new car, you want to keep it looking new. And that's easy with Armor All Protectant. A scientific formula that took a polymer chemist 10 years to develop. It helps keep rubber, vinyl, leather, and plastic looking new. So even though you can't keep your car from getting old, you can keep it from looking old. Armor All. It's science, but it works like magic.
For the New York Islanders, it was their 19th consecutive playoff series victory tonight. That's an NHL playoff record. 4-1 over the Montreal Canadiens. They won the series 4-2. They're the Wales Conference champions, and they get set now to meet the Edmonton Oilers, who'll be here next Thursday night to open this series. Scoring for the Islanders tonight, Gillies and Bossies in the first period, then Flatley in the third. Tremblay and Bossy ended it 4-1. Stanley Cup Finals begin Thursday night here on Long Island, 8 o'clock start, first of a best-of-7 series. Final score tonight, 4-1 Islanders. This is Brian McFarland saying so long, everybody, from the Nassau County Coliseum on Long Island.
CBC, Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Molson Breweries, brewers of Molson Canadiens, bringing you the finest in hockey broadcasting for over 25 years. Canadian Tire. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire than tires. Telecom Canada, your communications lifeline. Esso, you make us better. And by Ford of Canada. At Ford, quality is job one. Driving is believing. Hockey Night in Canada is a CBC Sports presentation produced in cooperation with Canadian Sports Network.